Facebook and what's going on YouTube. Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week as always. God bless you. I want to talk about a story that is pretty big. I don't know how valid it is. I think we'll see in the coming weeks because it's a pretty big claim, but you got Tucker Carlson right here. This is for hopefully the thumbnail picks this up. That's a good thumbnail. But Tucker Carlson said live on his show that he's being spied on by the NSA, which is a massive, massive claim and something that people like Edward Snowden have tried to bring up for years. So we're going to talk about that, what we know, and also, in my perspective, of course, I don't know exactly what's going on. I have some ideas, but I've seen this over the last few years of what they've used as far as things like the Patriot Act to say, now we have the justification to do this if we classify you as a terrorist. And now we're changing the classification of certain terrorists. And it's gotten to the point, combined with things they've done over the last couple of years and combined with the January 6th event, which they're now trying to tie everybody to. If you broke into Nancy Pelosi's office, it's one thing. But if you're halfway across the country and they're trying to tie you to that, it's because of how they're, I believe, looking at it. And I think they're trying to really name like half the country who's peaceful, honest people who just want to protect their family as terrorists. And, that's what I'm going to talk about today. I have a few stories that you probably haven't heard that are pretty shocking that I just heard recently. So please stick around. Sorry, I got to just change this. I apologize, but I kind of have OCD and it was sideways. So I wanted to change it on YouTube, Facebook. You can't even see what I'm talking about probably, but thanks for being patient. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my homelessness video with Jamie Joseph from the Epoch Times yesterday. That took a lot of time to edit. I actually edited it myself, 3 different camera angles, a lot of editing, a lot of audio stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I haven't done live streams in a few days. I actually lost my voice. I couldn't speak for a few days. I'm feeling great. I feel pretty much 100% healthy besides my thumb, which is still healing. But life is good. I'm always working. And thank you to everybody on Facebook, supporters, and Patreon. I have a few things to say before I start. Thanks for everybody coming in. I'll do some shout outs. But Facebook supporters, anybody who does the Facebook supporters, once a month we do a live stream. We're doing that tomorrow on Wednesday. So thank you guys for being patient. On Patreon, my perk is that I answer all the messages on Patreon. So thank you to everybody at patreon.com/raretalk. And I also have stickers now. I'm ordering thousands of stickers. One of them says, "Have a good day" with my stupid face on it. One of them says, "God bless." And one of them says, "Is thinking illegal yet?" So what I'm going to do, I think, for Facebook supporters and Patreon, now that I finally have merch and I know what I'm doing, it took a while, I'm going to give everybody free stickers or a free 3-pack of stickers if you ask or claim it. So thank you to everybody on the Patreon and the Facebook. I'm glad I finally have something to offer besides just the content. It took me a while, and I don't like to put things behind paywall. I get it. I get the whole behind the paywall thing, but to me, all the content I'm saying and I'm speaking, I want as many people to see as possible. I don't want to do little goodies that often behind the closed doors. I just want to give it out to the public. So thanks for the support. First story is important, and I have quite a bit of stuff to say about this, including my own personal experience. But Tucker Carlson claimed that the NSA is spying on him. I'm going to read CNN just for comedy, just to see the counter, perspective. It says, Tucker Carlson's claiming the NSA is spying on him. Even his own colleagues don't seem to believe it. So, they're questioning him. And I think it's a huge claim where he went on. I saw the clip. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's pretty big. He said that basically somebody from the NSA or somebody there in the government warned him that he was being spied on and they were going to use it to take down his show. And then he said that they read back a text or an email that only someone on the thread could have known. So that's a huge, huge claim right off the jump. I think, one, obviously, to me, it's not that hard to think that could happen. People like Edward Snowden have said this for years. Edward Snowden, the whistleblower, who's now, I think, in Russia, who's been going on Joe Rogan and all the biggest podcasts in the world to try to explain why he did what he did. And in his claims, Edward Snowden, they're databasing everybody's stuff and they're spying on everybody in multiple ways. And I don't know what they do or don't have, but it's not that hard to figure out. Sometimes I'm just thinking of something. I texted to a friend. I say it 30 minutes ago, and I'm getting targeted ads for something that I just said. I don't want to scare people because I'm not scared myself, but sometimes I swear I'm just thinking of something. Like I don't even talk about it. It's not even something I type or text. I'm thinking about something, and I get a targeted ad of something that I think I've never even said. So the amount of data that they have on us, the amount of data that they're sharing between governments and corporations and probably government, the amount of information, everything that they have via private messages. None of us read the terms of service on any of these things, whether it's Apple, you sign up because you need it. Google, Facebook, you sign up because you need it. None of us read these terms, but it probably says somewhere that they can, use that for whatever they want, advertising, or even to, do whatever the government says. I'm not quite sure, but it's not hard for everyone to figure out that they have so much information on us. And as far as databasing, what Edward Snowden was trying to say years ago, and I think this is valid before I get into the Tucker stuff, is, I understand why people would say, and even at one point in my life, I would have thought, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what's the big deal? They're just going after terrorists, right? It's 9/11. It's the Patriot Act. They're just going after these radical terrorists who want to blow up buildings. And it's like, yeah, well, that's not me. That's not anybody I know. So who would care? But then they broaden. And now I believe that there's high-level law enforcement agents, officials, whatever you want to say, who look at half of the country, 150 million people who love God, love their family, love, Donald Trump, love the Republican Party, and, believe in liberty and freedom over masks, doubled shots of Moderna and all this stuff. They're looking at everybody through the lens of a terrorist. And now because of things like the Patriot Act and such, and all the data that they've accumulated, it becomes this game of like, are they going after people who they think are going to blow up stuff and trying to prevent it? Or are they falsely framing millions of people to then say, well, they might be terrorists, so now we have the justification through all these other things to spy on them, to take all their stuff. And then it becomes a topic of like, do you trust these people? Are they accurate, or do they just irrationally hate you? So before I get into the other parts of the story, I just want to say, Tucker made a massive, massive claim. And I think a lot of conservatives believe him. A lot of liberals believe him. Some don't. He's got to eventually, I think, really bring this stuff to light, because now that he said that, I think at a certain point he's going to have to show proof, or whoever said that is probably going to have to come forward and reveal themselves and really prove to people that they're doing that. Is it illegal? Is it legal under a clause? I don't know, but I think, in my perspective, I would not be shocked if they're spying on a lot of people. And, I'm going to get into why I think, or how I think they're doing that in a second. This is something that really bothered me when I saw it, because I'm not one of these people. I don't obsess over police officers. I don't hate police officers. I'm kind of middle of the road. There's good, there's bad. It is what it is. I just try to do my thing and stay out of people's way. But I read this story because it was going viral on Twitter. And I thought to myself, there's no way this could be true. I know that there's corrupt law enforcement officials, but this can't be true. It's a CNN article from 2017. You should read it if you can. It says, how a suicidal pizza man found himself ensnared in an FBI terror plot. And if you read the article, there was some sort of, jihadist style minded guy who was suicidal, and he was depressed. And there was an undercover FBI agent who was texting him. And basically, from what I'm reading, it seems like the undercover FBI agent was trying to get him to commit a mass atrocity. And in some ways, he didn't want to. I'm just going to read to you, this is a CNN article, folks. This isn't Alex Jones. This isn't Breitbart. This is straight off CNN. It said, Jana said she dreamed of committing a suicide attack with Ryan as an expression of undenying love. I'm not crazy, Khalil, Jana wrote. It's my imam. It's my faith. It's what I believe in. Jihad is my dream. And the guy says back to her, honestly, you need to think about what you want. I can't be in this game. So it seems like she's trying to egg him on to commit a terror attack. And he's like, I just want to kill myself, not a bunch of other people. And if you scroll down in the article, I got to find the part. I can't find the exact line, but I've read this so many times. I'll just tell you, the one who was kind of trying to coax on the terror attack was an undercover FBI agent. So it's like, are they using their power to foil terrorist plots, or are they using their power to try to cause them in certain cases? It's insane to me that they would even do that or try that, because we do have violent people. We do have terrorists, of all ethnicities. And that's the thing that I'm thinking, where it's like they have all this power. They're calling everybody this stuff. There's so many stories like this that I've read that's just disappointing to be like, not only in this case are they really not stopping it, but they're almost trying to, egg on somebody who's like clearly not stable. This seems to be a trend, and I'm sure they do a lot of great work too. No question. I know there's a lot of great agents and great people out there, but this is the type of stuff where you're like, yeah, this is what Edward Snowden's talking about. This is what, like, they have all your information. They probably have everything databased. They're now probably spying on whoever they want based on, loose affiliations with other people that they consider terrorists or whatever. And how far will they go? Now that we have lockdowns, quarantines, mandates, social isolation, what I would consider imprisonment of a free citizen and a free business, telling them that they can't run. Now you have these agencies and these groups and things like the Biden administration or the Trump administration, to be fair, with all of this information, all of this data, all of this material, and you don't even have the freedom to run your business. This is a recipe for disaster. And with the 6th event, even before this, I kind of saw the writing on the wall of what's happening now, just based on how they were defining things. So this is from 2020, but this was happening for years under the Trump administration, actually, before Biden. This is Vice News. It says, the FBI just put white nationalists and neo-Nazis on the same threat level of ISIS. So that was kind of their introduction of saying, obviously there's foreign terrorists and bad people from abroad, but now we're going to start targeting people in the country. And here's why I knew that they were going to come after regular people with this type of stuff. If you look at the word nationalist, I'm not talking about the group. There's a group, there's people that call themselves the white nationalists, and they do things. I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know who they are, what they plot, how bad they are. Literally, it's not my thing. But the word nationalism, I'm a guy who's into like linguistics, dictionary. I'm a hip hop artist. I love poetry. I love words. I love I love rhyming. The word nationalism, based on Britannica, means an ideology based on the premise that an individual's loyalty and devotion to the nation state surpass other individual or group interests. So right now in the world, there's more complex issues, but you have nationalists and people who have a global mind. And I would argue, after reading Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto, the global-minded people are essentially trying to implement communism. You own no private property. Your privacy doesn't exist. Your private property doesn't exist. The state owns everything. You have no power to run your business. So that's the only two options we're given with Biden and Trump. And let's be honest, they work together on a lot of things that people on both sides don't want to admit. But either you're a globalist or you're a nationalist. These are the two choices that they present you in the media. So there's nothing wrong with supporting your country, being loyal to your country, and understanding that if you allow organizations like the World Health Organization and the United Nations, which was founded by people like Joseph Stalin, America, China under the Mao Zedong takeover, this is where it was established in San Francisco with China and the Soviet Union. Not wanting these people to run your life, that doesn't make you a terrorist or horrible person. It makes you smart, in my opinion. So the word nationalist, by definition, there's people who call themselves Black nationalists, and they have it in their Twitter profile. You have Hispanic nationalists, you have Asian nationalists. So a lot of white people, they don't even know that they're associating with the terror organization or a threat as big as ISIS, according to the FBI, when they consider themselves nationalists. So I'm just talking about the linguistics of it. 100 million plus people in this country probably consider themselves nationalists one way or another, just based off the dictionary definition. And now you're throwing race into it, combining the two words and creating a new term that a very small percentage of people use, that a very large percentage of people probably don't even know that they're being associated with that. So I saw this happening 3 years ago. I'm like, they're going to use the white nationalist to basically say, well, he's a nationalist and he's white. Doesn't mean you're in the group, the white nationalists. It certainly doesn't mean you're a neo-Nazi, but they call Charlie Kirk a neo-Nazi. So if they're allowed to call people false names and then target them as a terrorist, this has been a recipe for disaster. And Charlie Kirk, by the way, super pro-Israel, super pro-Jewish. The Nazi party, under Adolf Hitler, they were not obsessed with Jews. Charlie Kirk is very supportive of Jews. So it doesn't even make sense. As somebody who, I'm not even a big fan of Charlie Kirk, it makes zero sense to call him a neo-Nazi, but they do. And now that they call people all these names and they use these terms that people are confused by, thinking, well, I support my country, so is that me? Well, hopefully you don't identify as that, because if you do by mistake, now you're going to get targeted as a terrorist. And now, because of what happened on January 6th, everybody's getting targeted as a terrorist. So is Tucker Carlson being spied on? I have no idea. But would it shock me if they're using January 6th as an in to then spy on everybody that's an opposition of big government? I wouldn't be surprised at all. To be honest, I got a call, and I've mentioned this one time, but I don't like to bring it up because I just like to move on, try to live in a peaceful environment. I'm a peaceful guy. I don't even like to think or manifest certain things, but I got a call from the FBI after the January 6th event. And I was very frustrated, not just with Trump, but in general. I'm like, I wasn't even at the Capitol event. People heard me calling him a vaccine salesman, saying, I don't feel like going to the Capitol because I don't even trust what's he going to do there. And I said this before the 6th event. Listen, if you went peacefully thinking it was just a Trump rally or a protest, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that they're falsely targeting a lot of people. However, to me, it was just piss poor leadership because everybody thinks that, oh my God, Trump is going to, or Pence is going to overturn the election. Pence has the power to overturn the election. And I said this weeks before the Capitol event, I'm like, if you want to peacefully protest and legally protest, that's one thing. But if you're going to the Capitol thinking Mike Pence is going to save your life because Mike Lindell and Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell made all these claims, like you're going to be disappointed. And I had people that it was like a religious thing. Like, no. I'm 100% sure Trump's going to be in the White House. It's like, bro, I don't believe you guys. I'm not going to that event, but good luck and God bless you guys. I wish for the best. And, it was just a crappy, stupid move. Like everyone's like, he's a 5D chess player. 5D chess by ushering in all his supporters where 60% of them think that Trump's going to be in the White House on the 7th because Mike Pence is going to overturn it. You think Kamala Harris can overturn an election? People lost their minds over Trump. And I know people don't agree with that thing, but it's like if you were waiting for January 6th for Mike Pence to overturn the election, I'm sorry, but you lost the plot. Anyway, that whole event happens. And now it turns into this big scramble where I'm not even there. I didn't even really support it. Obviously, I told people who went, God bless you. I wish for the best. I thought it was just going to be a normal, peaceful rally. I didn't realize that stupid people were going to go ape shit. But once again, I didn't go. So I don't surround myself and do what other people do. I'm me, they're them. They're responsible for what they did. I'm responsible for what I do. But now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to be responsible for what they do. And I'm getting in trouble and I'm getting phone calls and I'm getting, basically questioned as if I have something to do with the Capitol. And that pisses me off. And that's maybe people are like, Anomaly, you're so annoyed at Trump. Multiple reasons, not just the lockdown, Operation Warp Speed, but his piss poor leadership that's now getting me in trouble and me interrogated and me, questioned over an event I had nothing to do with. So in general, I know what they're doing now. They're using this like 6 degrees of separation. Well, I would say hundreds of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people were probably at the Capitol. Trump supporters, the most obsessed Trump supporters and the biggest patriots or whatever you want to call them, went to the Capitol. Okay. So now how many hundreds or thousands of people got arrested? Okay. Well, they're getting arrested as terrorists, but now they're also questioning anybody who was around the Capitol. So how many people was that? Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Okay. Now you have hundreds of thousands of people that they're classifying as terrorists because of the action of a few idiots. Okay. Now out of that group of 100,000 plus people that was probably there, well, who are they associated with? Guys, I have 600 million views. Everybody in the conservative movement knows me. So of course I know probably hundreds of people there just because I make videos, I'm not bragging, but I'm more popular than 99.9% of music artists. I have 600 million views. Does that mean I'm responsible for what other people do now? If you listen to, a rapper, does that mean that rapper knows everything that you're doing? Like that's what they're trying to look at me as now. And it's very frustrating, but this is what they're doing. They're using loose definitions of words like white nationalists, where most people don't even realize that that's an actual group that does actual things. And they just happen to be white and love the country. And things like the 6th event to say, well, who supported the 6th event? Which journalist supported it? Well, Tucker Carlson supported it. Well, Anomaly's connected to this guy. He was on this person's show. He did this person's podcast. I saw him in a video with this person. He's in a picture with this guy. He's getting shared by this person and these people like him. Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm so lovable. I'm just kidding. But, I'm sorry that my videos get tens of thousands of shares. I have communists and left-wing Black Lives Matter activists who share my videos. Does that mean I'm responsible for them when they riot and loot a city? Of course not. I'm sorry that my content can span both sides and I can reach even the fringes of both parties. So these are the games that they're playing. And now they're targeting, in my opinion, trying to broaden the brush from the people who broke into the office to the people who went into the Capitol, to the people who stood at the Capitol, to the people who knew people who stood at the Capitol, to the people who knew people who knew people who knew people at the Capitol. And now I believe that they're looking at millions upon tens of millions of people as potential terrorists. And this is where wording and things like the Patriot Act and other bills that they probably pass that we don't even read come into play, because what are they doing? Are they allowed to spy on somebody and look at somebody if they think that they're going to do something? I would assume through the Apple things we've signed, through the Facebook things we've signed, and through the government bills that pass in the nighttime that nobody reads with thousands of pages, I'd assume we lost our freedom of that at some point, even though we have the Constitution, and it's a blurred line that they're probably trying to, mess with. So that's what I think that they're doing. I think they're falsely looking at millions of peaceful people who wouldn't harm a fly and micro-analyzing every little move that they make and saying, that person's a potential terrorist. He loves God. He loves his country. He loves Trump. He loves the First Amendment. He loves the Second Amendment. He reminds me of the people at the Capitol, and those people are terrorists. So he might be a terrorist. And I think they're using broad stuff like that to look at everybody. I saw, another person got questioned today by the FBI. I think his name was Tim Runs His Mouth. To be fair, I don't know anything about his live streams. I watched it this morning just to check out what he was saying, but I know nothing about this guy, just his Twitter. I see sometimes, he's still getting, what is it, June now? People are still getting questioned because I guess he was there. I wasn't even there, but I know that in general, why do they not like me? I'm not going to speak on people I spoke to. I mean, I'm sure that there's certain people in these agencies that do like me, and I bet there's certain people in the government that do like me, and then there's people that don't. That's life. Left wing, right wing, red, blue. It's the same. It's the same story all over the place. But in general, the big corporations and a lot of people who want to take away private property, who want to lock down and treat us like peasants and slaves, they don't like me. It's the same reason they don't like Brett Weinstein. Say what you want about Brett Weinstein, but I have to give him props. He's done, in my opinion, more than Trump to try to help our country and free our country from this medical tyranny. He just had his YouTube demonetized, the Weinstein brothers. And the reason Brett Weinstein had his YouTube demonetized is because he's questioning Big Pharma, and Big Pharma can't be questioned. Big Pharma made 9 new billionaires, okay? The amount of profits that companies like Pfizer are going to make from this vaccine are astronomical. So if Eric Weinstein starts coming through and talking about ivermectin, I don't know much about it. I'm not a medical scientist or a doctor, and I haven't really studied it, but he's talking about ivermectin. And is it the worst thing in the world? Well, I think it's been known as a safe drug for years. I'm not quite sure, but I think it's been pretty well studied. But, like he's realizing, if other drugs come available and, they decide that other things are safe, then the emergency use authorization for the vaccines doesn't work because they're not FDA approved yet. They're emergency use authorized. And if you read the emergency use authorization, it says if there's any other approved drugs available, you can't do that. So I think there's a huge effort. I think Ivory Hecker knows. I think Eric Weinstein or Brett Weinstein knows. I think they're figuring out that this might have something to do with it. And if you look at the history of Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, I'm sorry, it's not flawless, okay? There's been court settlements and such, but just like every industry. So in general, it's not just people on the right. Now they're saying you could Google anti-vaxxer terrorists now because of a few actions of a few anti-vaxxers, who did stupid crap. Now they're trying to say all anti-vaxxers might be terrorists. Oh, what do you know? Now they can spy and try to prosecute anti-vaxxers. And this is the dictionary definition that they do. What does anti-vaxxer mean? To me, it means somebody who hates all vaccines irrationally. But really what it means, if you look at Merriam-Webster now, for the last couple of years, anti-vaxxer means if you oppose mandating vaccines. So I would say most people in the country are anti-vaxxers via that definition, because millions of people who got the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine, they don't agree with forced vaccination. Most people don't in this country. So they've changed the dictionary definition to something that you don't even know it means, to then enforce it, take down videos on social media, prosecute people and look at them like terrorists. And even if you're a left winger like Brett Weinstein, who, by the way, 2 years ago or a year ago, he probably has an ideology that's so far left. Brett Weinstein's probably closer to Karl Marx than he is my libertarian style values. And, he's getting prosecuted now as if he's this bad guy. Why? Because he's questioning the state, he's questioning Big Pharma, and he's questioning the new regime that thinks they could lock you down, cover up your face whenever they want, seize your business, shut off your power and water, take down your social media, take your money. By the way, I don't complain about it often because I'm blessed, I'm fortunate, and I've made more money than I probably ever would last year at any other business, so I'm not crying about it. But when Facebook demonetized me before last election, I lost a lot of money. I don't even want to say how much because you probably wouldn't even believe me, but I went from making a lot to nothing. And since they turned it back on, it's been a struggle. I'm making half of what I used to, literally half, but I'm not going to cry. It's still enough. I saved a lot of money. It is what it is. But, these are like communist style games they're playing with all of us. Take half of your money, take all of your money, prosecute everybody as terrorists, spy on them and investigate them as terrorists, get phone calls from the FBI as if you're a crazy person for an event that you didn't even personally support. It's insane what's going on. So I don't know what's happening with Tucker Carlson, but I do believe I have a firm grasp on how they're doing this or why they're doing this and what their ideology is. Their ideology is, well, those people are terrorists and those people are terrorists and those people are terrorists. And this happened on the 6th. So those people are terrorists. So those people are terrorists. So he knows him. So if he's a terrorist, then he's a terrorist. And he talked to him on a podcast. So he's a terrorist. And he questioned ivermectin. So he's a terrorist. And he does a broadcast and a lot of people share his stuff. So he's a terrorist. Oh my God, we got all these terrorists. And who did they really hate? It doesn't matter if you're left wing or right wing. They even mentioned, I think it was Brennan, who put libertarians in the same breath as like a terrorist. He's like, some of these people are blah, blah, blah. He said libertarians. And I'm thinking to myself, libertarians, some of the nicest, like softest people I've ever met are libertarians. Usually when you meet a libertarian, they're usually, in my opinion, like way softer than a lot of conservatives, not in a bad way, but they're just like, we're going to live off the land. Like we like to, wear flannel shirts and just chop wood. And we want to, drink rainwater that's filtered. Like they want to live off the land for no taxes. That's like the big libertarian thing is like no taxes, the government's stealing our money. They're a threat because they want private property. The only person who believes in private property more than the conservative is the libertarian. The only person who wants lower taxes than the conservative is the libertarian. So if you're trying to seize total control of banking, total control of media, total control of transportation, total control of communications and media, and total control of property, so nobody has private property and everything is owned, run, and operated by the state, who's your biggest threat? The libertarian. For being violent? No, they're not violent. For being nasty? No, they're not nasty. For being self-sufficient. Anybody who doesn't want to give up their rights and freedom is a threat to this new ideological regime. And that's why people that are further left than Bernie Sanders on certain topics like Brett Weinstein, he's a threat because he's not a moron. And instead of just being a dummy, like, no offense, Jimmy Dore and all these other conservatives, Kyle Kalinske, and just being like, universal healthcare. It's like, hey, dum-dum, they locked down the country. Okay, do you not notice that they locked the country down? None of your little ideas of socialism matter if you don't realize what's going on. The corporate and government class have pretty much just locked us down. You get what I'm saying? Your ideas don't matter. A lot of these socialists and progressives, they're dumb. No offense. I like them, but they're stupid. Brett Weinstein, to his credit, he's not dumb. Clearly high IQ individual. So he started adapting and learning. And instead of just repeating the same stupid things from 4 years ago, like Trump on the right and these progressives on the left, he started doing deep dives on medical tyranny, mandates, lockdowns, vaccine tyranny and segregation and the data and all this sort of stuff. So that's why they hate. It's not a big secret. It's like, if you're effective, if you're honest, and if you're trying to preserve any sort of freedom and liberty, they hate you. So it goes multifaceted. It's going to go to the left to people like Russell Brand, Naomi Wolf, Glenn Greenwald. Why do they hate Glenn Greenwald so much? What's wrong with him? He's a gay, skinny liberal white dude who lives in freaking, another country with his gay husband. Why are they so mad at him? Because Glenn Greenwald's a good journalist. He's not an idiot. And instead of just repeating socialist talking points all the time, he actually combines the socialist talking points with valid criticism of the government and big government and, the medical tyranny. So they hate Glenn Greenwald. Anytime you figure out what they're doing, they're going to hate you. So that's, in my opinion, what they're doing. They're using crazy dictionary linguistic, manipulation. They're using basically guilt by association and broadening of like 6 degrees of separation to target and I guess speculate on millions upon tens of millions of citizens, peaceful citizens, like they're terrorist organizations. And where does this go? I don't know, but I will say this, someone said Edward Snowden. Snowden talked about all this, and I have to say this and kind of laugh just as a humor intake. I know it's not funny, but it's like Trump didn't pardon Julian Assange. Trump didn't pardon Edward Snowden. Trump pardoned Kodak Black, a rapper. It's like he could have pardoned Edward Snowden or Julian Assange, and that could have been like a crazy big move. But Trump decided to pardon a bunch of like random Israel associated spies, like Democrat criminals, and like Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. I like Lil Wayne though. I'm glad that pardoned, and Kodak Black, whatever. I don't care, but I'm just saying it's like, this type of stuff. And before I finish, there's certain things going on in this country where I feel like everybody wants to play it safe. Everybody wants to not do anything and just go along with this nonsense. And I know half the country disagrees with it. I can almost guarantee you people at the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, the government, left-wing, right-wing, Democrat, Republican, corporate, nonprofit, whatever, the whole, education system. I guarantee there's over 100 million people who know that the trajectory of what this is going is terrible. And, it doesn't matter if you agree with them ideological. It's all just a game to get power. One example for this is they have these crazy quarantine laws in Europe, and there's some sort of big business leader where a bunch of millionaires and billionaires are coming over, and the quarantine laws don't apply to them. Has people ever heard of Animal Farm? I believe that's where it comes from. All animals are equal. Some are just more equal than others. That's the whole game they're playing. Oh no, we're all equal. We're all equal in lockdown. We're all going to lock down. We're all in this together. Quarantine in place. Destroy your business. Well, yeah, I'm more equal than you, so I'm going to not do that. I'm going to go to the G7 summit. I'm going to run my business. Zoom is doing great. Uber Eats is doing fantastic. Facebook's doing. I'm sorry your mom and pop shop that your ancestors worked so hard to build got destroyed. Uber Eats will take over. So yeah, we're all equal. Just some are equal than others. The scheme is obvious, but I know that there's hundreds of millions of people who see what's going on, but it's scary to do something. It's scary to tell the truth. If I was a liar, if I was some sort of degenerate, like satanic hip hop artist who just preached like popping pills and just wicked weirdo stuff, I'm sure it would be easier to work inside the industry. I don't care because I do fine without them, but it's like, that's the game that they want to play. And there's people who are doing it thinking like, I don't agree with this, but this is the walls are closing in. That's all I'm going to say is the walls are closing in where things that seem safe are not going to be safe anymore, because that's how it works. To give you a perfect example, Alex Jones was the first person persecuted on social media. Is Alex Jones crazy? I think that's a valid adjective for him. Is Alex Jones loud? I think so. Does he ramble for 3 hours and say things that I wouldn't say often? Of course. But I always knew once they took down Alex Jones, he calls himself the tip of the spear. In many ways, that's accurate. He's the tip of the spear for free speech. He talks so much crap and says so much crazy stuff all over the place. Some of it's real, some of it's exaggerated. He's really paving the way for like, how far does the First Amendment go? I don't know. How far does Alex Jones go? That's probably about as far as it goes. Okay, well, they took him off social media and a lot of people said whatever. Now they just weeded themselves down. The president of the United States got taken off. Millions of people. You have liberals, Right Wing Watch, which is this BS left wing organization. Like they're gonna come down. They're just going for the right wing first because the right wing is a bigger threat, not a violent threat. There's some people who are, I'm sure, out there. It's not like no violent people exist, but in general, the right wing is an ideological threat because these people like family. And if you read the Communist Manifesto, they want to abolish the family. That's why there's all these, it doesn't really matter. The right wing believes in private property and lower taxes, and the left wing regime that's going on right now, they don't want you to own anything, and if you do own it, you're not even allowed to operate your business when they come through and say, lock it down. You lock down. We're not going to lock down. We're going to make 2 times the profits this quarter, and you're going to lose everything. And if you disagree, you're a terrorist or you're a Nazi or you're a horrible person. These are the games that they're playing. So, they're coming for these type of people, and then they work their way down. I'm peaceful. I'm nonviolent. I would say, I'm not going to boast myself on the back, but when I log into Instagram and Twitter, I have people who are socialists who follow me. I have people with Black Lives Matter, he, him, and pronouns in there. You wouldn't believe it, but the type of analysis I do, a lot of people from the left wing respect it because I'm not just like hoorah Trump all the time. And I do deep diving issues. I don't talk about critical race theory. Critical race theory is bad. No one's listening to, no offense, but it's like, you explain why it doesn't make sense. Explain to these people. If you explain it, you'd be shocked that a lot of them don't know that much. And they're just, they just get annoyed. But anyway, it's like, I'm pretty chill, and they've already come to me. I've had I don't really want to bring that much attention to it, but I've had NPR smear articles that was shared by Chelsea Clinton saying, look at this conspiracy theorist on Facebook. So, I know that there's certain people who are upset that I'm doing so well on Facebook and social media, even though I'm peaceful, calm, rational, reasonable, and willing to call out both sides. So if it's coming at the point where it's like, I'm a big problem, I'm getting calls from higher level officials, like I'm doing something when I'm not even at the event, I'm not trying to scare people because I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative, and I'm a strong person. But, you know, it's not like, oh, and now I'm like, people say to me too, like, oh, you know, they act like I'm alone or something, like, oh my God, I'm going to do this, but like, aren't you afraid? I'm like, bro, you're next. You know, it's like, you think it's just me. Eventually, like they go for this, or they go, and then when nobody else, then you know, it's like, and then you walk into work. I have a buddy, one of my best friends. Now they're trying to say, if you don't get a vaccine, you can't come into work. We're going to force you to wear a mask. We're going to do this. It's becoming unworkable. If you don't bow down to these psychotic rules, it doesn't matter where you are. And in fact, I'm probably a lot safer in many ways just because I've built my own sort of thing where I don't have to deal with that many people. And God forbid I got taken off of social media. It would suck. I would probably lose money. But at the end of the day, I'd figure it out. You know, I'm a hustler. But, you know, it's like, there is no, like, I'm just going to hide, right? Eventually, the walls close in on everybody because this is the type of crap that they're doing. Millions of students, millions of workers, millions of Americans, millions of all sorts of professions are now being forced with the decision. If you don't get the emergency use authorized mRNA injection, you have to not come. You have to be fired. You can't go to school. You can't go to work. You have to wear a mask all the time. I mean, this is psycho stuff. If the ACLU and the Supreme Court wasn't so nonsensical, this would be a #1 human rights issue. I mean, this is crazy what's going on. This is full-blown segregation, full-blown discrimination, and in my opinion, full-blown imprisonment / you know, soft-tier slavery for people who don't want to get the injection that Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson have immunity from liability from, which they just added a warning label to 2 of their products because it's true. You know, it's just crazy stuff. So I'm not trying to scare people because I'm not worried at all. But, you know, I really think that good people all over the place are going to start doing what Ivory Hecker and these other people are doing, these mainstream journalists, and say something peacefully, calmly, legally, rationally. That's all I'm advocating for. And I have to say this. I don't just say this to protect myself, but I've been doing this type of reporting for years. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. I'm not a ninny. I'm not paranoid. I've seen the writing on the wall for years. I've seen how they classified things. I've seen what they use it and who they used it to target. So I'm just aware that they're watching everybody, you know, even like they're calling people, asking about their tweets and stuff. So it's like, I'm not doing this because I'm paranoid. I'm doing this because it's real. And they're looking for a reason to act like you're a horrible person when you're not. So everything that I say, I make sure I say legally, calmly, respectfully, you know, peacefully, all of that stuff. But at a certain point, it's the people who go along with this type of stuff who allow it to happen. I'll give you another example. I just watched a video. I didn't even know this happened. I was tapped out of the news then. But during Hurricane Katrina, apparently, I didn't know this, the police and the military were going around and confiscating people's guns. And a lot of these people, the police or the military, whoever they were distraught about it. They were like, I wish I didn't have to do this. You know, I'd rather be in Iraq than like rounding up my own citizens. I didn't even know that happened. But I'm thinking to myself, like, I get it's tough, but how in the world could you do that? You know, it's like, and this is like in the police state in Canada, the only way it's a police state is because the police are listening to the government. So the government tells the police, shut down that pastor, shut down that business. You know that business is probably going to go bankrupt. You know that it's not fair that the business leaders get to do stuff, but the average person doesn't get to do stuff. You know that big tech is making a killing. You know that the billionaire class is rising. You know that the workers are losing trillions of dollars. They're losing equity. They're losing real estate. How come Bill Gates, who advocates for lockdowns, is buying up all this farmland? I thought we should just hunker down and we're all in this together. I'm not buying farmland, but people are losing a lot, selling stuff, and he's buying farmland. They're just stealing our stuff, guys. They're just, you know, maybe through one way or another. It's like, well, you lose money. I'm gaining money because it's not a free market. If Bill Gates is making a lot of money and Warren Buffett's making a lot of money and Elon Musk is making a lot of money, I don't care. I'm not jealous. I'm not selfish. Whatever. Everybody can make money in America. But when my business is not allowed to operate, when I'm getting censored, when I'm getting my pay reduced, when people who own actual physical businesses can't literally run at full capacity or they're going to get arrested, and you're allowed to double your profits, and then you're buying up land that people can't afford anymore or want to sell because it's not as viable anymore. That's not fair. It's not right, but they know what they're doing. So the point I'm getting to is so many people are going along with this because they think it's going to make them safe or something in the end. But in general, it's like, it's just so sad what's happening to our country, because I don't want any sort of negativity, violence. That's not me, but it's like, what in the heck is going on in this country? Like, do people not get it? They want to wear a mask for the rest of their life. This is the world we live in, where they just shove rainbow flags down our throat, and then people who respectfully just want to run their business or like protect their family are being targeted and harassed and looked at like they're a terrorist organization, and they've never even harmed a fly. I mean, this is some sad stuff. And so many people know that it's going on, but everybody's afraid to, do anything. And I understand why, but, my thought is this: it's like, it's going to be the brave people who just say, listen, legally, peacefully, respectfully, like, yeah, I'm not going to play along with this. Like, what, at a certain point, the same people that you target and the same people that they falsely and immorally, hurt, whether it be closing their bank account, shutting down their social media, that's going to be the new normal, if we let it be the new normal. So let me know what you guys think. I love to see what happens with this Tucker thing, because since he made such a huge claim, I think he's eventually going to have to back it up one way or another. And like I said with the targeting, I pray that horrible, violent people who want to hurt innocent people, are held accountable. But this idea that tens of millions of patriotic Americans, or anybody who wants low taxes and anybody who wants freedom, or anybody who opposes big pharma tyranny is equivalent to ISIS, it's just so sad what's happened to our country. And I know most of the people enforcing this probably know that it's messed up and wrong. Some of them don't. But, let me know what you think. I want to talk real quick. I apologize for filibustering, but there's this one video that I saw. It's like a big viral TikTok. It's this liberal guy with like a hipster mustache, and he's singing a song. I'm just going to repeat the lyrics. It says, "I'm vaxxed, waxed, wearing slacks, going on TikTok, dropping slacks. The CDC says, hey, you can relax, but when I go out, I still rock a mask because I don't want to be mistaken for a Trump supporter." So he's admitting, I'm vaccinated, I'm wearing a mask. The CDC says I can relax, but I don't want to look like a Trump supporter. And then he complained about a fever of 102 from the vaccine, but he's proud of it or whatever. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, it's so obvious what these people are doing. They're claiming science. It's science. It's science. It's not. We're not getting political. You're getting political. It's science. It's science. It's not politics. And then as soon as the science changes or the science reveals itself, they say, it's not about science, actually. I just don't want to seem like a Trump supporter. So what does it mean to be a liberal if you're afraid to show your face? You're afraid to reveal your breathing holes. You don't have an identity. When you have no face, you have no identity. You're hiding your identity. You're literally covering up your breathing holes, not because you think it's scientifically proven to help you, because you're afraid of looking like a Trump supporter. This is a perfect metaphor of why they're so mad at Trump supporters in the press and at high levels. It's because Trump supporters want to breathe air without covering their face, and liberals will literally enslave themselves. I mean, they're such weaklings. No offense, they're so pathetically submissive that they're like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this because I think it's scientific. I don't want people, if I show my face, people will think I support Trump. What does it mean to be a liberal if being a liberal means concealing your breathing holes? I mean, you guys are like enslaving yourselves. It's called Stockholm Syndrome, okay? It's like Kanye says slavery is a choice. Everyone cries, and now it has nothing to do with science. And somebody who opposes it isn't. Things have gotten way too political. Brett Weinstein understands this, and now his YouTube income's getting deleted. Is he right-wing? He's left-wing. He's just following the science and following the data and following everything that they're not following science. They're not following data. And if you're that dishonest, if you could lie about that, what else could you lie about? These people are never going to stop lying. So I pray that there's, a lot of good people in this world, because it's sad to see so much wickedness take over. And I've always had high aspirations to help people and make an impact on the world. And to see it go this route through the left wing, where I thought that they were going to do a lot of great things as they grew up, it's just disappointing to see how do people get. But my faith is not only in Christ and in God, but my faith is in the good people of this world. I don't believe most people in this world are bad people. I think that most people in this world are good people. I just think a lot of people are fooled. And on that note, thank you guys for the super chats. I apologize, I can't read them. I'll try to go back. But, this is another thing I'm going to say, and then I'm really done. I'm going to read comments. I think the left wing is fooled, but I also think the right wing is fooled. I mean, I think, in my opinion, Trump set up his own audience. Everyone's complaining about General Milley, right? General Milley, the critical race theory, chief of staff or whatever he is. Trump implemented him. Christopher Wray, Trump put him there. All this stuff was happening in 2018, 2019. Trump didn't do anything. In 2020, Trump helped lock the country down. Trump extended the lockdown. You want to talk about the election? Why don't you talk about the fact that in May and April, Governor Kemp was trying to open a state. He did, and Trump complained about it. Trump wanted the lockdown to last longer. Trump complained about Sweden and Georgia. Then mass mail-in ballots came. Machines that Trump knew about for 10 years that he didn't say anything about before the election. Now, all of a sudden, after the election, it's this huge deal. He knew about it 10 years ago. He tweeted it during Mitt Romney's election, and you act like he's the dumbest person ever or something. Then he tells everybody to go to the Capitol, which I don't believe it's his fault particularly, but stupid leadership. Everybody's going to the Capitol believing Mike Lindell, My Pillow Guy, General Flynn, Lynn Wood, they're all telling him something big is going to happen. Trump's blaming his vice president as if he doesn't have his phone number. Just call Mike Pence, bro. Oh, Trump doesn't know what Mike Pence is going to do. Dude, it's his vice president. He chose him. He has his phone number. He sees him every week. He's setting you guys up. He's lying to you. So then everybody goes to the Capitol. They think he's going to win. People freak out, do dumb crap. Everyone gets blamed for it. And Trump doesn't even talk about it. He didn't even mention it in his speech. He doesn't give a crap about his own supporters. He set you guys up. Thousands of people are getting harassed by the FBI. Trump doesn't even mention it. Trump doesn't even mention vaccine segregation. Trump doesn't even mention medical tyranny barely for 5 seconds. This is your guy. You're going to follow him off a cliff again. So it's like, not only did he not drain the swamp, but he set his own supporters up because he's talking this big shit for 4 years. I'm all for big talk, but I didn't even realize. Sorry. I apologize, but my microphone was way back there. I should have moved it. But in general, he's talking big shit. He's going to drain the swamp. So the swamp is getting more pissed off. He's supposed to do something. He didn't do anything. He pissed everybody off, talked big shit, set his supporters up, locked the country down, sold the vaccine, and then scooted out of office and doesn't even mention it as all his supporters are getting harassed. He's a shitty leader. I hate to say it, but it's like, just like I think the left wing is brainwashed, if you keep following this guy who set you up, it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 5 times. Like at this point, it's annoying because not only are you getting yourself in trouble, but you're getting everybody in trouble. You're getting people like me and Tucker in trouble when we shouldn't be in trouble because you keep doing stupid crap that the vaccine salesman tells you to do. So it's like, I'm not blaming him for everything, but if you talk big shit and you piss off all these people you hate in government, you might want to do something about it. What was his big move in 2020? He locked the country down. He sold the vaccine, and then he told people to go to the Capitol because Mike Pence can overturn the election. And people still believe that. They still get mad to me. They say, anomaly, Mike Pence could. If you think Mike Pence can overturn the election on January 6th, I'm sorry that Trump brainwashed you. Can Kamala Harris overturn the election next January 6th? If you guys win, is she going to overturn? The vice president doesn't have that power. They have the power to send the electorates back in something that's unprecedented, that hasn't happened in hundreds of years, and then send it back to where? You think they could change the votes? No, they send it right back to Pennsylvania and these other states who already sent them in. If Pennsylvania wanted to change the vote so much, why didn't they do it before they sent it in? They're lying to you guys. Everybody's afraid to disagree with Trump or MAGA when they want to win the election. So they send the electorates in. They don't do what you want. And then they all point and blame Mike Pence because they're too cowardly to do something for themselves. It was all a big lie. And I said this a month before the 6th. I said it a week before the 6th. I said it after the 6th. And everybody got set up. What were the results? The swamp didn't get drained. Nobody that you hate in politics got arrested. Trump supporters got arrested. And he's out there with his PSYOP speech talking about everything under the sun, except for the most 2 important issues. His supporters are getting set up and investigated like terrorists. And medical tyranny that he helped usher in is destroying our country. And he doesn't even mention it. His whole speech was a misdirection. But people got brainwashed by him, just like the left got brainwashed into I ain't got my 2 jabs and I'm still wearing a mask because I don't want to be a Republican. I'm going to run circles around it's like, it's such a joke, you know? It's such an obvious, like, year-long, put a carrot in front of your face, run you in circles for 2 years, and now nobody's even, you know, standing up for themselves. It's such a joke. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. I know it's not going to be popular, but unfortunately, I just don't care. Hold on. Someone says, so now what? That's the question. Life is good. Listen, so now what? I don't know. What happens now? Thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate y'all. I'm reading the comments. Someone said the governor's locked down the states. Judy, you've been here for a year. I've argued with you for hours. I'm not having the same conversation on loop. Picasso said, I'm done with this BS. You think I care? Unfortunately for you guys, like, I know people get mad at it, but you don't know how many messages I get from Trump supporters, from the big Trump influencers, from people that you love, that you probably think never would say what I'm saying. They message me all the time and say, Anomaly, thank you so much for being honest. You're the only one telling the truth. You know why? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the left. I'm not afraid of the right. I'm not afraid of the media. I'm not afraid to go against the Trump movement when I think it's wrong. There's people who believe what I'm saying, a lot of them, I would say the majority now, but a lot of these influencers, they built their whole brand on Trump. So if they were to question MAGA, they get people freak out on them. So it's not that they don't think this, they're just afraid to say it because they're going to get ratioed. Luckily for me, my reporting has been about honesty, telling the truth. So it doesn't affect me. People get mad, people get happy. It doesn't affect me. David said, no fear here. There is no fear. Fear's only helpful when there's like a boulder falling on your head. You know, if there's a boulder falling on your head, it's good to be afraid to run out of the way quickly. But besides that, there's no benefit to fear. Be happy, be grateful, be appreciative. And it's a blessed time. It could be better, it could be worse. That's what it is. So, you know, there is no fear. We're not afraid. It's just, you know, it is what it is. Life is wild. It comes with high highs and low lows and craziness, but I'm very grateful for where I'm at. And you know, it is what it is. Like, it's, you know, it's just another day. Someone said courage is in short supply. You know, I might put this on Facebook later, but I said on Twitter, I said, you know, they always say America's the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's not the home of the brave anymore, so it's not the land of the free. You only get your freedom if you're brave. So we lost our bravery, and now we've lost our freedom. So if people want it to be the home of the free, it's got to be the land of the brave. And I know a lot of people, you know, a lot of people feel trapped. I feel sorry for people, honestly. Like, I'm lucky that I'm wild enough to have never really cared about, you know, what happens if I don't succeed. I think that's what drove me. So in my early career, everyone said, oh, you can't be a rapper. You can't do this. You can't do that. I thought to myself, you got one life. Listen, I don't really care. I dropped out of college. I did this. I did that. I did a lot of stupid stuff, but I also thought to myself, I have drive. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to go broke. So I got to this point by not caring. So in one way, I'm blessed and lucky. In another way, I put in the work when it wasn't popular. So, but now it's like all of these other jobs, corporations, the walls are closing in on people. And I feel bad because, you know, now people have to feed their family. They have to pay rent, and they're being faced with these decisions. If you don't listen to us, if you don't get the vaccine, if you don't wear a mask, if you don't travel to a crappy city that we destroyed, that you don't even want to commute back to, you're going to lose 100,000 a year, 60,000 a year, 80,000 a year. And people are trapped, you know, and I feel terrible because half the country's trapped. It's like, they don't want to go against the grain, but at the same time, you know, they don't want to do that. So people are in like a rock and a hard place right now because everybody, you know, the walls are closing in of this tyrannical ideology. of like, if you don't play ball with everything that they're doing, then they take your money away. You know, it's unfortunate, but it's like, this is what I meant a year ago when I said, you know, there may be no better time than now to just speak your mind, because it's always tough to tell your boss or anything how you feel. But at the end of the day, as time goes on, I don't believe it's getting easier to say that. I think it's getting harder. And if you look at 2017, oh, the Women's March, most people, including myself, would beg to get back to those days. You know, those were the simple days when it was just loud activists and stuff. Like after the lockdown, like that looks like patty cake. But back then people were like, oh, I don't want to face those people. It was better back then to say something. Now it's even tougher. So I think as time goes on, it's going to be harder and harder for people to say something. But, you know, if your boss is doing crazy stuff, you know, I know people don't want to lose their work, but I'm like, some of these regulations that they're putting on sports players and stuff, it's like they're literally, in my opinion, bringing back slavery via big pharma regulations. Oh, no, you don't have to get it, but you're a second-tier citizen. I mean, when's the last time a football player got told, you can't go to a restaurant, you can't see your family, you can't have a girl over, you can't leave this room, you can't do promotions, you can't do advertisements, you can't do social media stuff, you can't do this. These are the new NFL rules. It's like, this should be the main narrative in the NFL. I know a lot of these black players believe in Black Lives Matter. They're bringing back a new form of segregation and slavery. Is it the same? No, it's based on ideological principles and liberty. But when you lose your freedom and liberty, I mean, it's definitely not ideal, but there's no opposition because they've duped people into fake activism. Someone said they're watching all the conservatives who are on a platform. No, they're definitely monitoring everything everyone says now. I truly believe that. Everything public, God hopes not the private stuff, but in general, that's what Tucker Carlson's claiming. So once they have things like the Patriot Act, and once they have successfully lied about you and your affiliations as a terrorist, you know, they probably give themselves the right to do whatever they want. So it's a sick world, but whatever. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to complain. It's just disappointing what they're doing. But yeah, as far as, you know, statements on social media and stuff, they're definitely honed into all this, and they're spending all their resources acting like libertarians are Al Qaeda. It's very wicked. Yvonne said they're studying us. Yeah, I mean, here's the issue too. I know people don't want to hear this, but it's already bad enough that they're over analyzing and lying about everything. But a lot of people who support Trump, I'm not trying to be rude, I voted for him. I supported him via videos when it was important to do so, when he was being lied about. A lot of people have been brainwashed by Trump. And I'm not saying that to kowtow to these other people. I'm being honest. As somebody who voted for him, a lot of people are brainwashed. Just they run in circles around whatever he says. He'll say something like, it's like a pull string doll. He's like, vaccines, audit, vaccines, audit. So you got people running in circles. I don't think they have a mind of their own anymore. So it's like, now you have millions of people who don't even think about medical tyranny. They don't even think about anything. They're just repeating whatever he says, saying stupid crap that's going to get them in trouble. Trump is like a Pied Piper for communism. He's literally setting you guys up. The 6th was a setup. He set people up, whether he meant to or not. He set people up with this stupid idea that Mike Pence is going to take over the election, and people went and got set up. And now you're following them again. You're going to get set up again. But here's the crappy part, and here's why I care. If you set yourself up, that's your own fault. But every time you set yourself up, you're now getting everyone else in trouble. So stop doing stupid crap. You get what I'm saying? It's like the more Trump supporters set themselves up following the setup guy, the more everybody gets blamed, the more Tucker gets blamed, the more I get blamed. So it's like stop falling for the same thing over and over and over again. Because it's like, obviously, I think 99.99999% of Trump supporters are nonviolent and peaceful. But it's like, you know, if you want to talk about 5D chess, 5D chess would be stop listening to the guy who set you up on January 6th. Have a brain of your own. Stop just repeating these same narratives. It's like people will just get deleted saying, he stole the election. It's like you sound like a pull string doll. What are you doing about it? Are you analyzing it properly? No, you're just repeating what Trump says, which is getting you set up on every level. At least if you're going to get kicked off social media, do something impressive, do a really deep diving report that's going to change the world. Don't just say a 5-word sentence that Trump said. It doesn't mean anything. And if you want to be honest, you could go back to Dick Gregory, listen to one of his interviews. He was talking about machine manipulation 40 years ago. Trump tweeted about it in the early 2010s. He knew about it for 10 years. Trump also helped shut the country down and complained when Governor Kemp opened up. So if you want to talk about machine voting and mail-in ballot, how come Democrats were talking about Dominion years ago? How come Trump was talking about machine voting 10 years ago? You think he just figured it out in November? He's just running you guys in circles. It's like, is there a problem on our hands? Of course, but is the solution following that guy? No, that's just going to keep getting you set up. And I know people don't want to hear that, but I'm tired of you getting set up because it affects me too. It's annoying. And it's also unproductive. So in general, it's like, you get what I'm saying? It doesn't even make sense. William said, stop complaining about Trump, for God's sakes. I'm doing a report right now and I'm saying how I feel. If you don't want to follow me, just click X. There's a bunch of people who will ride Trump's coattails, who will lie to you publicly, who are deathly afraid of saying anything truthful about Trump that goes against him, who message me privately all the time and say, thank you for doing what I'm afraid to do. Thank you for saying what I'm too cowardly to do. So you go follow them because, 90% of them feel exactly how I feel. They just don't want to lose their whole audience. I don't care because it doesn't affect me. That's not how I got it. It's not how I'm going to lose it. Albert said, anomaly, are you a plant by the Democrats and Bernie Sanders just asking for a friend? This is the binary thinking, Albert. First of all, God bless you. But this is how they get people. Either you're left or right. If you criticize the right, you must be a Bernie Sanders plant. If you watch my videos on communism, those are the most revealing videos on the entire internet. One of the most revealing videos on communism. I've gotten through to millions of people, including tens of thousands of progressives. So you think these people you follow, they just say, Trump, 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 socialism sucks. And then communism and socialism come to the country. And all of a sudden, they don't have that much to say anymore. All of a sudden, they're not that effective anymore. Why do you fall for them? Just because they say, hoorah, hoorah, red flag? What does it mean to be a capitalist if your party, Trump, Mitch McConnell, print trillions of dollars in March? I don't want to print trillions of dollars. AOC wants to print trillions of dollars. Andrew Yang wants to print trillions of dollars. Nancy Pelosi wants to print trillions of dollars. Trump and McConnell did print trillions of dollars. And then the only libertarian who said no, Trump said to kick Thomas Massie out of the Republican Party. So what does it mean to be a Trump supporter and a capitalist if your guy doesn't even support capitalism? And then you try to complain about me and act like I'm a socialist when I'm one of the only conservatives actually speaking about socialism and communism, making sense, reading the Communist Manifesto. You should read it. 90% of conservatives never even read it. They just repeat stupid talking points that don't even make sense. I read it, did full-blown videos on it, and got millions of views educating people on why communism is bad. You think someone paid me to explain to millions of people why communism is bad in the Bernie Sanders camp? Get over yourself, dude. Come on. This is the binary thinking, though. If you're not left, you're right. If it's not us, it's us. That's why they're both lying to you. It's that simple. Well, I hate Trump, so I'm going to wear a mask forever. I hate Trump. I'm going to walk around in a mask so I don't see a Republican. That's called a brainwashed liberal. Well, I like Trump, so anybody who says otherwise it must be a Bernie Sanders plant. They brainwashed you. God bless you, Albert. But come on, that's the whole thing. They both do things together, and then they got you fighting each other. And meanwhile, most liberals don't know what they're doing. Why would Bernie or Democrats pay me to expose communism? What valid thing? I voted all Republican. Paul J. said Trump hates America first. That's why he surrounded himself with people and staff who are so hostile for it. Plausible deniability. If you want me to be completely honest, while I still can, you have to understand, and I'm not being hateful, God bless all my supporters. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Black, white, Asian, American citizen. I don't care if you're an illegal citizen. God bless you, or illegal immigrant. The Republican Party is run by Zionists. This is not anti-Semitic. This is a fact. Trump is a full-blown Zionist. People like Jared Kushner, even Ron DeSantis. So you have to understand when it comes to America first, if by America first you mean America first, then no, none of these Republicans are America first. If you are America first, they turn on you and call you names. What they do is pass speech laws for Israel, and they're big donors. That's what they do. They put on this act like they're for America first, and then they'll support all these things, whether it's lockdowns, trillions of dollars of printing, bailing out crappy people and leaving Snowden and Julian Assange to rot, and his own supporters to rot, to be quite, but he puts on a good act so people don't even realize it. This doesn't mean I hate Israel. I love Israel. This doesn't mean I hate Jews. I love Jews. Not all, just like I don't love all white people, but in general, I love good people. I'm just saying there is no America First party. It's a Zionist first party. And the more you say that, the more they say it's anti-Semitic hate speech. And the more they say that, the more they lose, and they don't realize why they're losing. And they're trying to piece it together. Maybe Trump didn't understand what was going on. Maybe he's the smartest guy in the world. He just got fooled. No, they don't care. They're not operating under this ideology that you think they're operating under. They have a different set of rules, a different set of priorities, and a different set of people to please. Not the citizens, not the voters, not the base, not the Christians. I'm sorry, but until people realize it, people will always play second fiddle. And I'm not saying this to be rude or mean, but all this stuff is going to come back in the butt to bite you. To give you an example, the Patriot Act. Yeah, I have no problem if there are terrorists, whether they're Islamic or Christian, and they're trying to burn down buildings. I have no problem with higher enforcement trying to take care of that and save millions of lives. But on that note, now that the Patriot Act is here, now it's being used against, American citizens who are peaceful and innocent. So when you plant these sort of rules and laws, they're going to be used against you eventually. And Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump and all the Republican Zionists, most of who are Christian, have implemented anti-Semitism laws. One of the things that happened on Rumble.com, God bless Rumble.com, is they put in anti-Semitism laws as soon as Trump got there. Do you think that's a coincidence? That's what Zionists do. They don't believe in free speech. They believe in quashing any sort of criticism or commentary on Israel and any sort of criticism and commentary on powerful Jewish people. That's what they do. That's what Trump does. That's what DeSantis does. They've passed this into law. And I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm not trying to blame everybody, because 99.99% of people have nothing to do with it, Jews included. But if you look at Facebook, who owns Facebook? If you look at YouTube, who's running YouTube? If you look at CNN, who's running CNN? It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a factual statement. So if you read the anti-Semitism laws, what can't you say? Who can't you question? You'll have no problem questioning Hasidic Jews in New York City who are being forced vaccinated, because they're not the problem. They're just trying to oppose Big Pharma. And all of a sudden, nobody cares about them. I stand with the citizen Jews who don't want to be forced vaccinated. But those laws are not for those Jews. Those laws are for the powerful ones, like Sheldon Adelson, rest in peace, who funds the GOP. That's what those laws are for, and they're going to be used against you very, very soon, and they already are. So until Trump supporters and Christians and conservatives wake up to what's going on the right, you're always going to play second fiddle. You're always going to lose. You're always going to get set up, and you're going to lick the dirt off of the shoes of somebody who couldn't care less if you were in jail, like thousands of it or hundreds of his supporters right now. And tens of thousands more are being harassed, and he doesn't even say anything. Medical tyranny is taking over our country. He barely talks about it. Why? Is he playing 5D chess? Is he secret? No, he doesn't care. The agenda is not to care about you. When people figure that out, and it's so frustrating, because on the right, people act like liberals. If you want to talk about illegal immigration, it doesn't make you a xenophobe. It makes you an American citizen with your First Amendment right to have an intellectual conversation about border security. If you talk about terrorism and Wahhabism in the Middle East, it doesn't make you an Islamophobe. It makes you an American citizen with the First Amendment right to question something going on in the world. If you want to talk about anything Jewish, it doesn't make you an anti-Semite. It makes you a normal American citizen with the First Amendment right. So when you talk about this type of stuff, the right wing looks at you like liberals look at you. People want to call me a Bernie Sanders plant. It's like, you guys aren't plants, but they brainwash you to do the same thing that the left does. So as the left is taking this speech, the right's taking this speech. As the left calls everybody racist, the right calls everybody racist. And you're left with no First Amendment. You get what I'm saying? And it happened on Rumble. If you look at the terms and conditions of Rumble, now they have anti-Semitism speech laws. Now that Trump's there, all of a sudden these random new speech laws pass up, because that's the agenda. They're bringing them everywhere. They're on the State Department website. They're on Rumble. They're on all social media. And it's just another infringement on free speech that is not there to protect the average person. It's there to protect people who, have power. That's Who else does a speech law? You think I get a speech law? Well, anomaly is this race and there's so much, power there. So I don't get a law because I have no power. If I had power and money and influence, then I could influence politicians to pass a law so people couldn't say anything about what I was doing. That's what they're doing. It's really that simple. And I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I apologize if I'm passionate and my voice sounds a certain way, but I've been warning people for years and letting you know you're going to figure it out. And at a certain point, it's going to be too late. It's not hateful. It's not racist. It's not anti-Semitic. It's pure Americana. There is no America First movement. Trump, all these people, they're serving another agenda before your own agenda. That's why you're always second. That's why you're always losing ground. And anybody who realizes this, they turn on, Someone said perseveres. Someone said he could breathe. I could breathe. I'm passionate. I love this stuff because I love people. I love humanity. I love the fact that when I say this stuff, I get people who message me from Israel, from Palestine, from Syria, from America, and I could hear all the perspectives. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed to I'm not going to say for everything, but my message has been a magnet for great people of all types. I had just earlier on Instagram, I posted one of my songs with Trapped Come Together. I posted a reel. It's like the TikTok of Instagram. And I had Muhammad Ali's daughter, Layla Ali, share it on her story and reach out and say, if you need, she does spices and stuff, check them out. She looks like a great cook. She's like, I love her. We love what you do, me and my husband. If you need any spices, I've been blessed to meet so many different people, so many cool people, Black, white, Asian, Jewish, who get what I'm saying. So I don't care about the haters and people who think it's mean or something. Real people get it. And I love humanity. I love human beings. I don't want to see us enslaved. I don't want to see us in prison. I don't want to see the right get set up. I don't want to see the left get set up. I don't want to see innocent people be targeted as if they're some sort of criminals and terrorists when really all they want is private property and liberty. So I don't care, to be quite frank. I'll breathe when I want to breathe, but I could breathe later. It's all good. This is what I like. Straight up, Brando said, whatever the reason, me personally believing he feels threatened. I agree with you because Trump didn't seem very pro-America when the country is being shut down. Ever seen Times Square empty? Listen, I have compassion and sympathy and empathy. What Trump did is not an easy job. I do not envy him. I do not want to be in his position. God bless the man. God bless his family. It's only love for me. I'm just saying from an American perspective, and this has gotten me misconstrued the whole time. Listen, there's hundreds of millions of people. You matter. I know you don't think you matter, but you matter. Trump matters and you matter. When 80 million people or however many people voted for Trump the first time, 50 million, 60 million, Trump got into office. Trump getting into office, regardless of what you think, changed the trajectory of the world. Donald Trump being the entire media for 4 years was a lot different than Hillary Clinton. So you changed the world with your vote. I know you think the machines are rigged, but how'd you win the first time? Because there's a way to win, guys. It's fine. I mean, you could do audits and stuff. I support those, but I'm just saying you won the first time. Why didn't they do it then? In general, that changed the trajectory of the world. And now that he's in office, when enough people come together and want something, that's what it is. We're filled with policemen, workers. You get what I'm saying? The machine doesn't move without you. You are the machine. You are the movement. So if 100 million Trump supporters put their foot down and say, you know what? We want peace. We want liberty. We want freedom. We don't care if it's Biden or Trump who does it. We're going to peacefully, respectfully, and legally do the right thing. It all changes. But if you keep running circles around characters in politics, you get what you deserve. You get what I'm saying? And I don't wish this on anybody, myself or anyone, but it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 7 times. At a certain point, it's like, like a liberal wearing masks for 3 years. Like at a certain point, you got to wake up, and that's the same with the right wing. So you matter more than you think. And when you put your foot down, it could change the trajectory. And I'll tell you something. I know people have gotten mad at me. I know I probably lost and gained thousands of followers. I don't really care. Trump in his last speech talked about the vaccine less than he's ever talked about it in his last speech. Do you know why he probably did that? Because when Ivanka and Don Jr. posted on their Instagram about it, most of his supporters say, you can take it, but we don't agree with what's going on. That's called your power. You don't have money. You don't have $100 million to give the GOP. You don't have a bank. You don't have a media company. You have your spirit. You have your voice. That's all you have. So when you voice your disapproval with what Trump does, he actually listens, but he doesn't have to listen if nobody ever does anything because they trust the plan and they think the military is secretly in control of the government. Those are all psyops to make Trump supporters useless. So your power is when you respectfully say to Trump, I disagree with that. And that's what happened over the last 2 months. I'm not going to take full credit for it because that would be dishonest. But if you don't think I'm one of the main people who's been honest for the last year when it wasn't popular, you're not being honest. And in general, now that enough people are being honest, he all of a sudden he goes from talking about it for 10 minutes to talking about it for 10 seconds. You think he randomly changed his speech to only talk about it for 10 seconds? No, he figured out it wasn't popular. That's why they call him a populist. So if you make what's wrong popular because you're afraid to question Trump, you are the machine. You are part of the problem. It's your fault more than it's Trump's fault. I'm not blaming him for everything that happened in the country, but when he goes left and I want to go right, I'm not going to walk left because he's my idol. I'm going to stand firm because I really believe in the First Amendment. I really believe one of the things that's made our country great over the last 100 years was your ability to talk about race, to talk about gender, to talk about ethnicity, to talk about sexuality, to talk about politics, to talk about power, to talk about media. That's what made our country great. You take away the First Amendment, you're not free anymore. And that's what happened in 2020 through big tech. They took over almost all of the discussion, and then they monitored the discussion and took out their political opponents. And now they're doing that in multiple ways. So I don't say this to be mean to Trump. God bless Trump. I'm saying this to hopefully inspire people to realize that it's your job just as much as it's his job to disagree. Just like if I was president, I'd want you to disagree with me if I did that. I wouldn't want you guys to lick the dirt off my shoes. You have every right to say, Anomaly, I voted for you. I like you, but I am drawing a firm line with the Second Amendment or the First Amendment or the lockdown or the quarantine. And if enough people did that in April, May, June, July, you might have seen a different trajectory. But people worshiped him like a god, thinking he had this secret plan. And the last thing he did was got his supporters set up at the Capitol. I mean, I'm not breaking news. This happened, whether he meant to or not. So I'm not doing this to be mean. I'm not hating on the Trump family. I love the Trump family. God bless the Trump family. I wish for nothing but success and peace. And what he did was a tough, tough job. But when he's on the wrong loop or he's doing something that I believe is anti-constitutional, it's not my job to hate him. I'm not hating on anybody. It's my job as an American citizen to say no, because at a certain point, when it's not there anymore and Biden's in office, now you're getting what happens when you don't have the freedom to say anything. This is all a snowball effect. So at a certain point, that's all it is. It's never been his fault or I'm blaming him for everything. But when he does something, I think it's your right as an American to say, hey, no. And it works. It actually works. It really does. There's certain things in this country, if it weren't for so many conservatives, it wouldn't be there. The only reason and even Biden, there's certain things that he would probably love to take away, but he can't take away because he understands that so many conservatives would not allow it to happen. So he barely even talks about certain things that he wants to do. That's power. That's all you have. We don't have money. It's called strength in numbers, and it's called righteousness. Stand firm in what's real, peacefully, legally, respectfully, and you get better results than you can. But that's been the psyop of the last years. People have prioritized their worship of a politician and a leader more than they've prioritized what they actually literally believe. And before I move on, I want to say this. I know it's true because I'll give you one example and then we're going to move on. If you love the vaccine, I don't care. If you don't trust it, I don't care. It's not for me to tell you what to believe or not. But here's how I know that most people in the Trump base don't believe anything. The people who don't like it, if Trump says something, they make 10 excuses. I've heard every excuse under the sun, where if Biden did that, would they be making those excuses for Biden? Of course not. They would be blaming Joe Biden. If Trump did the opposite and he was saying exactly what I was saying, would they say the opposite and say, well, he should have done this to please the left? And no, they'd go along with everything he said. So it's they don't stand in their moral or logical ground. It's like excuse time for Trump. If he took the exact same stance as me and didn't say any of the nonsense that he was talking about, he said, we shouldn't rush it. We should take 4 or 5 years. It doesn't make sense to emergency use authorize. I don't want to fund it. You would have had 50 million conservatives say, that's damn right. You shouldn't rush it. You shouldn't fund it. You shouldn't police the left. You should wait 4 or 5 years. And those same people that would do that are now defending something that they don't even morally and logically believe because he did it. That's when it becomes like a cult. It's like, you don't believe that. You'll make up 7 excuses in your head of why you think he did it just to avoid standing firm in what you believe and just saying, I don't like that. It's like it's become the demise of the right wing, I think. Eric said, thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much. Jabril said, do I think FEMA camps, aka gulags, are coming? And are we in the process? Isn't this slow drip? I mean, I don't know about FEMA camps, but I think right now they're trying to basically harm people's reputation. So I think this is not new in the world. As far as anybody who opposes certain agendas, when people have power, first they try to, destroy their character in the press. And they've already started that with Tucker Carlson, with Trump, with myself, with anybody who tries to question them. They start with, a character attack. And then, they're now looking into legal stuff with certain people like Trump and Giuliani. So anything's possible, but I would say more than FEMA camps. I just think they're going to try to, frame and go after anybody any way they can. The same way they did with the IRS. People said that they did this to libertarians and conservatives and the Tea Party with the IRS. A lot of this stuff is not new. It's just, how far are they going to take it? Where I don't live in fear. I made the song Way Too Jack for the Gulag as a joke, but I'm serious. Like, I don't, it is what it is at this point. Like, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not doing anything wrong. This is what I believe, let the chips fall as they may. It is what it is. So I don't like to manifest like the worst case scenario. I want to manifest the best case scenario. I want to see everybody, change the trajectory of America in a way that's better for everybody. I'm not talking about something radical and terrible. And I hope that any police officer, any government official, anybody that's watching this video, I hope that people understand when people don't have private property, it's bad for everybody. I don't care if you're in the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, you're a blue collar worker, you're a Democrat or a Republican. America has been so prosperous for so long for everybody or a lot of people because we have liberty. We have the right to own something. You own a house. Yeah, you might have to pay property taxes on it. It's a scam, but you own a house. If this goes through, you have to read the Communist Manifesto. It's very similar to what they're doing. And the main tenet is like they put out, you own nothing and you'll be happy. It's your business, but we could shut off the power of water. They're taking away people's individual liberty and privacy. And anybody that's involved in doing that, whether you're high level or not, eventually it's going to come back to bite you. Unless you're literally the top elites, like the 1% where you're like running the show, everyone's just a foot soldier of the state and part of the machine. And eventually what America has been was, yes, you have upper class, yes, you have lower class, but you had a huge middle class and you had a really huge upper middle class. I mean, people flock all over the world to come to America to make a lot of money because it was one of the best places to be from all over the world, Africa. So now they're getting rid of the upper middle class and the middle class. Now you're just going to have a lot of plebs and a few elites. And even if you're an upper elite, you're going to have to follow crazy rules. What does it mean to be an NFL player and have tens of millions of dollars in the bank, but you don't even have the right to use a sauna, to see your family, to go to a restaurant, to leave your hotel room? You're just a high-paid slave at that point. And I don't say that to be rude. I say that as a wake-up call to NFL players to be like, what does it mean to be wealthy in this country if you can't travel, can't go on cruises, and you're a high-paid slave for not bowing down to big pharma injections every year? That's not a good sight. So anybody that's involved with this, I know people think that they're fighting the Trump movement and they're fighting these horrible fascists, but one day people are going to wake up and realize it was never about that. Yeah, of course, there's some crappy Trump supporters. There's some crappy left-wingers. And there's bad people all over the place, but they're targeting the people who believe in liberty because they don't believe in liberty. They're targeting the people who believe in freedom because they don't want freedom. They're targeting in the only group of people who believes in private property, because if they get watered down, they're not going to have private property. So this is what they're doing. And I just pray that people realize, because it's not going to help anybody involved unless you're like literally the top 10 people. You're going to get screwed. They're going to use you. And then eventually it's like, okay, that's always happened in every horrible regime. They use people and then throw them to the curb. Someone said, I just bought a Cole Beasley jersey, and I'm not a Bills fan. He's very brave, but it's so true. Like Cole Beasley, I love that guy. It's like, dude, who cares if you make millions of dollars if you can't even live your life? Like that's crazy what they're doing to the NFL players. Jabril said, that's what I'm saying. I'm done with this theater. I'm just wondering how far people are willing to let them take us down this road. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, but I think I can't change everything. It's not really up to me. I'm just trying to be the best version of me I could be. And I have a long way to go. I feel like I've made a lot of progress over the last 3 years, and I have a long way left to go. So that's what I'm focused on, doing the best work I can make, getting better, working hard, not getting lazy, and just being a better person. That's all. Thank you, Kaylee. I appreciate it. Someone said Biden's destroying America. Here's what I'll say. I didn't vote for Biden. I don't like Joe Biden. I think he's kind of depreciating upstairs, if you know what I mean. I think, honestly, I don't think he's even really running the show. I think he's just like a spokesperson for people that are way younger and way smarter than he is. So I'm not supporting Biden in any sort of way. I would never vote for him. I don't like him. Don't even think he's really doing that much as far as like planning. However, people need to understand this, and I'm not trying to blame Trump. I just want to give you, if you just keep saying it's Biden, General Milley, everyone's complaining about him. Trump put General Milley there. Everybody's complaining now. Tucker Carlson's complaining about the NSA, the FBI. Trump was there for 4 years. I'm not blaming Trump. I'm just saying, if Trump was in office, do you think any of this would have been different? These are people that Trump put there. You get what I'm saying? So is Biden, in my opinion, a terrible leader? Of course. Is Biden doing this? He's just a figurehead. If Trump was there, I don't think any of this stuff would have been different. The only difference would have been, I think gas prices would have been lower and federal judges would have got in. I don't really think Trump did that much when it's all said and done. Any policy he made with black unemployment and trade deals, it doesn't matter when you shut the country down and print trillions of dollars. He wiped away every major economic accomplishment he did with the lockdowns. And as far as socially, he didn't really do anything. He inspired a lot of people, but policy-wise, he didn't really do anything. He passed an anti-Semitism speech law, which infringed on the First Amendment. What did he do that was so mind-blowing that would have been so different? I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying, like, all of this stuff, the critical race theory, all this left-wing, like rainbow stuff, you think Trump was stopping that in office? You think he's going to stop all these corporations? He was just going to, in my opinion, make people feel like there was something big coming, and he wasn't going to do anything, just like the first 4 years. I'm not blaming him. I'm not hating on him, but it's such a binary Trump trap to just be like, oh, Biden did all this. Biden hired General Milley. You would have stopped critical race theory and all this left-wing propaganda. He wouldn't have done a single thing about it. He would have just tweeted about it. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying, it's like, in order to solve this, people have to realize, if you just say it's Biden, it's Trump, it's Biden, it's the same game. It's not going to solve it. That's my thoughts, but. Someone said critical race theory is a Marxist racial tool. Well, they're using, I'm writing a book. I've been writing it. I know I keep saying that, but I'm getting further and further. But the double standards and the way they mess with linguistics, they're turning society not only against conservatives, but really, against white people in a way that's just crazy double standards. Why? I'm not somebody that thinks of my race like, oh my God, I care so much about it. That's never been who I was. However, I do have ancestors from Poland, from Italy, from Puerto Rico, and I respect my heritage and I try to learn as much as I can. On that note, the standards are double. So if you are a nationalist, of any other ethnicity, you're not deemed a terrorist. If you're white, they could group you into a group that you don't even know exists because you just think you're supporting the country. So there's all these traps that people are falling for. They don't even realize. With critical race theory, it's like we could talk about race, but are we going to talk about all race? Are we going to talk about Black history, the pros and the cons, Jewish history, the pros and the cons, white history, the pros and the cons? Are we going to talk about like African history? Are we going to talk about good things that the Native Americans did and bad things that the Native Americans did? Are we going to go through history, the slave trade, Arabs involved? Are we going to go through all of this? Or are we just going to say white people bad, everybody else good, white people did everything, everybody else is the victim? That's why critical race theory, a lot of people are saying it's anti-white. I think it is by design. So it's like I'm all about talking critically about race, but this is not what the left does. Of course, it's a Marxist tool, but a lot of people, it's tricky. They don't know how to deconstruct it because it happens so fast. But, I had a whole stream about this the other day. They want to act like this. And I know this sounds crazy, but even on the right wing, you have people like Charlie Kirk. No offense, I'm not trying to pick on him, but he's like, if you care about race, you're a racist. It's like, bro, that's the most communist, like left wing thing to say. If you care about race, you're a racist. First things first, they want to make everybody as if like no one matters. Your family doesn't matter. Your culture doesn't matter. Your history doesn't matter. Your skin color doesn't matter. Does it matter in the sense of like you're better than somebody? No. But if you're Black and you're white, you have to understand the differences as far as skincare and sun routine. Like you can't go in the sun that often if you're Irish. You can't. If you care about it, you're racist. No, you should care to the extent you should understand yourself and understand what you can and can't do based on physical limitations. It doesn't make you worse and it doesn't make you better, but the Irishman cannot go in the sun as much as I can, or the African. So as if it doesn't matter at all. Well, it matters to some extent. I think you should learn your history, your culture, the food, the dance, where your grandparents came from, but then also respect other people's cultures and be able to dissect legal immigration, illegal immigration, crime rates and certain things. There's nothing wrong with talking about that. So you have one side that says race matters, but it only matters. These people are the victims. These people never did anything wrong. These people are evil. These people did everything. And then the other side says it doesn't even matter at all. But that same side, like the Charlies that say it doesn't matter at all, they also hold Black summits and Hispanic summits and it doesn't matter until we can exploit it for identity politics for our politics. Yeah, of course it matters to you when you want to do a Black summit at the White House. Race does matter to you. It just doesn't matter when you want to make a viral tweet that doesn't make any sense. So it's like, it's balancing two ideas. And this is the left and the right trap. The left says something, they're fraudulently wrong. The right counters it with something that's stupid. And then you get fighting between stupid and wrong. And the actual logical discussion is nowhere to be found about race. It's so critical race theory. There's nothing wrong with talking about ethnicity and race if you're allowed to do it honestly and accurately, and you're allowed to explore different things that happen. And this is like I don't think any ethnicity is completely innocent in history. And I don't think any ethnicity is completely wicked in history. I think there's good and bad people of all. There's people who got fooled. There's people who did fooling. There's people who did wicked stuff. And it's okay to speculate on why it happened. I think that's totally fine. For example, there's a reason with banking and usury loans, there's a reason one ethnicity dominates that industry. It doesn't make you racist for understanding why. It's historical because there's certain religions that believe that usury is a sin and usury should be illegal. And then there's certain ethnicities and religions that don't care. So they were the ones who filled that void, and that became how banking started and heavy loans started. It doesn't make you wrong for pointing that out. It's not a hate speech offense. That's, I believe, accurate history. But then you should be allowed to question me and say, I don't believe that's true. Okay, then tell me what you believe. You see what I'm saying? If people acted like me, we could have discussions about race, but everybody, you're racist. Race doesn't matter. Race is all that matters. We want to segregate. We don't want to segregate. We're against segregation, but we're going to segregate a Harvard graduation. It's such a toxic conversation. So the left, as always, slips in their agenda, and the right doesn't know how to counter it. And I'm not blaming. It's difficult, but it's such a mess. And I feel like the left always shoots left and the right can't figure out how to stand their ground. It's not easy. It's not an easy task at all. But seeing all that, I don't even use the word critical race theory because it's like, okay, I could say it just to talk about it, but I want to talk about exactly what's happening and how these words, they frame it in a way like they're master branders. Black Lives Matter. Genius. That's a genius brand. Do I think Black Lives Matter is a good organization? No, I think I know because I've done reports on it. They were started by trained Marxists who their puppet master guy or their, advocate who established socialism in their brains. He admitted that he was thinking about it through his ethnic lens. And then he got Black people involved because he saw there was anger and he exploited that and used it for his political and racial agenda. I know all about it because I've done research, but in general, Black Lives Matter is a great brand. Critical race theory, it's pretty good branding, not as good as Black Lives Matter. So, that's why I'm writing my book about language, and hopefully it helps a little bit because I'm blessed I've always loved poetry. Shout out to Shel Silverstein. Since I read Sidewalk, Where the Sidewalk Ends, I've always loved words and poetry. So I understand what the left is doing. They're way better at branding things a certain way. And the right's always playing catch up because of how they brand and how they operate. It's genius. It's unfortunately just not helpful or good, but it's like genius level branding, the way that they make these words and these topics and implement them in society and make it almost impossible to disagree with. Well, if you disagree with LGBT, you hate all gay people. Listen, I've never been as suspicious of LGBT stuff as I am this year. There's rainbow flags everywhere. Banks, this, that, everything's rainbow. They're shoving the football is gay. They said the NFL is gay. It's like, listen, I've never even thought about it that much until this year and last year, but it's like now they're pushing in what I would consider like, you can't possibly question us. I'm getting these questionnaires and it's saying, which part of LGBT Pride Month do you like? And in the questionnaire, it doesn't even give you an option to say, oh, well, here's actually what I don't like. Okay. Like maybe I don't like it. Maybe I don't agree with certain parts of it. There is none. They're like, you like this. Which part do you like? It's like straight up communism being pushed through a rainbow flag. So I see what they're doing. They're using people's sexuality to push this agenda and use it and brand it across all of their companies. And nobody's paying attention to the lockdown and nobody's paying attention to medical tyranny. So they're so good at branding things, exploiting Black people, LGBT as a shield to then shove their sicko, control agenda down people's throats. It's annoying, but as somebody that's into linguistics and branding, it's like somebody taking something and using it for evil. So I'm trying to use it for good and because that's the only way to really prevent this type of stuff. It's like understand how they're doing it and figure out a way to counter it. Sorry, I'm just trying to drink some water. Someone said, I'm going to read this too. Michael said, come on, the right is good at branding. Make America great again, hook millions. You're not wrong. I wouldn't even say the right, but that was one of Trump's strong points. Trump is really good at branding. Make America great again. Fantastic branding. MAGA hats, fantastic branding. Build a wall, good branding. Lock them up, drain the swamp. Trump is a branding master, no question. Giving people nicknames like Lion Ted Cruz and stuff. Trump is very good at branding. That's why I think an accurate, compliment to give Trump is the best thing, in my opinion, he did. Branding, spirit, awakening millions of people. And then I think it's accurate criticism, in my opinion, like Cernovich says a lot. He's incapable of wielding power. Great at branding, great at marketing, great at waking up a lot of people, not good at having a powerful position and actually doing something. So, you don't have to agree with the second part, but I think that you're right. I think he's a genius brander. Just the actions didn't follow the words in the end, in my opinion. All right, I'm gonna see a few more and then I'm gonna take off. Someone said Marxists have been perfecting their branding for decades. It's true, and I want to read this real quick. I've mentioned it in a few videos, but I find it fascinating. So this book right here, G. Edward Griffin told me to read it, and I'm glad he did. That guy is a genius. Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson. I just want to read it. It's actually got a preface from Archibald Roosevelt. So Manning Johnson was a Black American communist who left the Communist Party, and he pretty much realized that they were evil and what they were doing. I'm going to read this because it's from chapter 3. It says, I don't want to use the word because it's an outdated word. I'm just going to say black, but they use another word for that. It's not that bad, but it's just different times. But chapter 3, it says, red plot to use blacks. Stirring up race and class conflict is the basis of all discussion of the Communist Party work in the South. The evil genius Stalin and the other megalomaniacal leaders of Moscow ordered the use of all racial, economic, and social differences, no matter how small or insignificant, to start local fires of discontent, conflict, and result. So he was saying back then, even then, they were using the smallest racial differences to exploit people's division. Here's another one. It says, subverting black churches. This is from a black communist in the early 1900s. He said what they would do to subvert black churches, the communists, created doubt, lack of confidence, suspicion, setting up situations that bring about racial bitterness, violence, and conflict, putting forth demands so unrealistic that race relations are worsened, attacking everybody in disagreement as reactionaries, fascists, Ku Kluxers among whites, and Uncle Toms among blacks constituted their pattern of operation. So this book was written in, let me see, I don't even know, 1958. So since 1958, they have been calling any white person who disagrees with communism as a KKK or a fascist, and any black person who disagrees as an Uncle Tom. They've been doing this for almost 100 years now. So I agree that this is not even new. It's just they're gaining a lot of traction right now. And isn't that crazy that they were doing that and they're still doing that? And to wrap it into this video, now they're saying, well, you're a fascist, you're a Ku Kluxer, you're a Nazi, you're a white nationalist. And since I've called you that, now we're going to investigate you like that. That's what they're doing. They've been doing that for 100 years. If you disagree with communism, if you disagree with our Marxist ideology, you must be a fascist. Well, now that you're a fascist, you're this, and now I can do this to you because you're that bad of a person. That's why they're looking through America through the eyes of everybody's a fascist, everybody's KKK, everybody's a Nazi. It's so disingenuous, and it's becoming impossible to have any sort of rational discussion. Even on the right, the right tends to conserve their own little illusion. And then anytime somebody comes along and tries to challenge that with a harsher narrative, they just try to block them out and smear them. It's happening to Paul Gosar right now. Say what you want about Paul Gosar, but people should be allowed to have discussions and talk to certain people. But the right, they claim they're anti-cancel culture. And all these right-wing conservatives I follow are like, Paul Gosar should have never met with that person. He should have never talked to that person. He shouldn't have an event with that person. That's your opinion. But in general, it's like, can you debate that person? Can you have a conversation with them? Like, these people love to block out people that they're not smart enough to argue with and have a discussion with. Like, it's not just the left. People, it's Biden. It's both parties, but people don't understand, like, the whole right-wing GOP movement. It's mastered the art of pretending to actually do something. And when people come along who are willing to challenge that, they turn into liberals and try to really oust them. But it's all good. Someone says Sal Alinsky Rules for Radicals. I've been meaning to read that. I've read the first chapter, but I haven't got through. Someone said, I'm Irish and Mexican American too. We are green beans, LOL. Okay, making a joke there. Now I'm going to get flagged for hate speech. I'm just kidding. Someone said, now my phone is hacked for watching you. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know if that's true. All right, let's end on a good note. I got one more or 2 more minutes, and then we'll end. Someone said, let's crowdfund for an anomaly cruise. I would love to own my own cruise, but I'm not at that point right now. At this point, it kind of, I won't say scared me, but I realized that half the year has gone by. It's almost July. And I had a great year. I'm grateful. I feel like I worked hard, but I'm a workhorse. So I'm like, it's halfway through the year. I want to work even harder for the next 6 months. And I really want to buckle down, get better, smarter, higher quality, figure out ways to grow and also not go broke and stuff like that. So, I feel like I got to go even harder. I appreciate what's going on. I'm grateful. I don't like to get greedy, but I also don't like to get complacent. So I really want to work hard this next half year, and hopefully you'll see the best peak level anomaly, because I want to hit everything and really honestly not just put out good content and help a lot, but also protect myself in the sense of everything is not forever. Like Facebook, YouTube, I see what they're doing. I see the direction they're going. I try to be as fair and accurate as possible, but clearly they don't really care about that. So, I see the writing on the wall. I would love to work hard and really make a difference while I can. Someone said made in America products. Yeah, so I have just two things real quick. I have my store, dreamrare.com. Dreamrare.com has new shirts and stuff. But my USA website, it's taken a long time to develop, and we're still growing. I think there's over 140 businesses now. So if you go to usaproductsonly.com, it's like a farmer's marketplace for USA products. We have over 140 USA businesses. A lot of people are people who watch my channel and are from Facebook or YouTube. So check out usaproductsonly.com and go to their website, check it out, read their about me, email them if you don't feel comfortable with the product, because we're not liable for anything, because it's like a farmer's market where everybody brings their own stuff, woodworkers, all sorts of cool stuff. So usaproductsonly.com, check out the website. We've been working hard to update, and I think there's over 140 businesses there. I'll post the link again soon, but we're developing, we're working, and you got to go in goals, because I'm not a big conglomerate. My first step was to add as many. So we got 140 or so. I want there to be thousands of USA businesses and just make it a great database. Once we have the database and once we have all of that, we could think about other things, but that's the first goal. All right, let's see. Am I going to Sturgis this year? Probably not. The only way I would probably go to Sturgis is if I was performing again, and I haven't heard about that. So, I'll talk to Chris today, see if he's performing there. It went great last time, but the reason I went is I have a song with the band Trapped. If you guys know Trapped, check out TRAPT. Their big song was Headstrong. They have a lot of good songs, but that song, a lot of people know, Headstrong. I did a song with them. We're working on a second song, and they performed with Smash Mouth at Trapped, so I performed with Trapped. That's why I went. If they perform again, I'll probably go. And Chris asked me to go on tour with them this year, so maybe I'll be on tour with them. I'm not sure. It's not that I don't want to go, but it's a lot of work, a lot of busing and stuff. So we'll figure it out. But things are really dope. I'm working on some new stuff with the music. A lot of people don't even know I don't do music, because I don't even talk about it that much. I'm doing great for an independent artist. I do a lot of big shows and stuff. It's just I wear a lot of hats, dreamrare.com. So I don't really focus on it that much. But yeah, I might be a Sturgis if they play, but if they're not playing, I'm not going. Really fun last year. I had a great time. South Dakota was epic. Everybody was really nice. So I would love to play there again. I don't make the rules. Someone said, impressed when I listen to your raps. Well, thank you. Someone said, we're all equal. We all live under the same rooftop. Everybody deserves liberty to reach their dreams, but a lot of times they use this idea like the Animal Farm, we're all equal, just we're more equal than you. Where I think if we understood where we were similar, we're all humans, we all bleed red blood. And then if we understood our differences with no sort of hate, it would be a beautiful thing, because it's what makes the world great. We're not all the same, and that's not bad. If we were all the same, we'd all eat the same food. We'd all do the same dances. The reason music is great, the reason food is great, is because we have Thai food and Japanese food. So this is one way where I kind of disagree. I know what people mean when they say we're all equal. It's like we all deserve everything. But to me, it's kind of like a communist sort of thing where, they're like, we're all exactly the same, but we're all really different. It's like, yeah, I get it. But they want to strip everybody of their culture. So there is no culture. And when there's no culture, all you have is the state. You don't have any options. You don't have any culture, so it's like, we definitely all deserve the same things, but it's okay to have, differences. It's okay to understand your skin tone and what it means as far as how much sunlight you can intake. It's okay to like certain foods. If you're Indian, it's okay to like curry more than someone else. I love curry. I love yellow curry. I love Indian. I love all foods, to be honest. Every culture has great food, but in general, it's like, you get what I'm saying? It's okay to not hate yourself. It's okay to not hate everyone else. If everyone was comfortable and confident, you wouldn't have all this division. But what they do, the left exploits self-hatred. The left explores like self-deprecating people. And whether you're white or black, they exploit those people to just push a lot of anger and hate. And, if you're comfortable with yourself, you're not going to be bothered by all this other stuff. But the left is masters of, manipulating people, turning people against each other, and trying to hurt people, in my opinion. But someone said equals a nice thought. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a complex issue. I think people talk about it where it's like, is every NBA player equal? Well, I mean, they all deserve a chance to play, but no, Luka Doncic is not the same as Shaquille O'Neal. It's like different height, different size, different speed, different shot. It's okay to be different, so it's okay to have differences. So I think the word equal is a little bit, I get what people mean. Like, yeah, everybody deserves human rights. But it's like a complex issue where you have one side says we're all exactly equal. It's like, I mean, I get what you mean, and then the other side says we're all so different. We can never get along, but we will get along, but we hate you. It's like the truth, in my opinion, is somewhere in the middle. Like, yeah, we all deserve human rights and freedom and low taxes. But this idea that like equality, in my opinion, is also this agenda of like, well, now everyone eats the same food. Well, now everyone gets the same treatment. Well, now everyone, it's like if the NBA became equal, it's like there'd be no game. That's the end stage of like liberalism. It's like, it doesn't work anymore. It's like the game is ruined. There is no game. There's a funny meme. I'm just going to say, have you ever seen the meme where it says equity, equality, and it's got the people standing on the boxes, and the one has the little boy who could see, the other one he can't see? There's a new one where they took away the fence. They took away the home run fence, and it says like, this is true justice, get rid of the oppression. And I was thinking to myself, that's the perfect example, because you can't play baseball without a home run fence. If there's no fence, there's no game. And the liberals and the communists thought, we took away the fence. That is the oppression. Now everyone can see the game. Yeah, everyone can see the game because there's no fence blocking the way, but there's no game. You ruin the entire game because there's no fence. It's actually the perfect example of what liberals don't understand. I'm all for, Portland and LA being awesome and liberal. I love it. But if the city's not safe anymore and it's not prosperous anymore, no one wants to live there. It doesn't matter if you're black or Indian or white. It's not a desirable place to be. So it's this balance of loving everybody, appreciating everybody's differences, appreciating everyone's similarity. You wouldn't want LA to be completely equal. You would have no Koreatown. You would have no Thai food. You want people to have their individual sovereignty and their own culture, but at the same time, have some sort of unifying culture that keeps the city safe. The problem is now the only ones who have that culture are the right wing. The left have lost their mind. They can't keep anything afloat because they lack the basic common sense principles of like, it's okay to love all these people, but if you ruin the city, no one wants to be there. It's terrible for the Thai restaurant. It's terrible for Black and Hispanic people who live there. It's terrible for white hipsters who want to be, a superstar in Hollywood. It's like, it sucks now because you guys forgot the main principles of like how to run a city. Who wants to be in that city right now? I've lived there for a while. I did live there, but it's like, yeah, it's not, who cares how many rainbow flags you have on your businesses? The good part of the city, if you have a bunch of rainbow flags in West Hollywood, whatever. But if West Hollywood sucks now, then who cares? It's like the flag is not as important as the streets and the crime and the taxes and the price and the workers. That's what matters. That's just a symbol. So now you guys care about a symbol more than these people are so backwards, but you guys get it. All right, let me read the star comments I'm gonna roll out. All right, sorry for being late on these, but you get it. I got two things going on. Let's see, top star senders. Frank said, give a shout out to RIDG Gaming. We are a new small business doing what we can to give back to our community through partnerships with nonprofit. Hold on, I'm reading it. Through partnerships with nonprofit and gaming and online sports, we have done 3 pop-ups. We bring generators, hook up my DJ equipment, set up easy TV, and hook up a gaming system and grill. So giveaway. Thank you for being a light in the darkness. You're a true inspiration. Thank you, Frank. RIDG Gaming. Frank with the super chat. Thank you so much. Give me a message on Instagram, Frank. I want to check it out. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Blaine. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel said surveillance capital is a successful market that will only expand. Mary, thank you. Laura said pray for Surfside, Florida. That's crazy what happened in Florida. I'm not up to date on it, but that seems like a very strange thing. God bless everybody who's affected. Joseph said, Anomaly, thank you for keeping forward. Keep going forward where no one seems everyone else will. Thank you. Billy said, are you going to get back to playing b-ball once again? Your thumb heals. Are you already retired? It's a good question. I'm definitely going to play basketball. Probably not box anymore, but I'm going to see a physical therapist soon. So hopefully I could get back sooner than later. But unfortunately, I got to take a few months off of like certain sports because I just don't want to re-injure it. Very disappointing, but whatever. I'm over it. Trevor said, I get those ads too about thinking stuff. Thank you for raising awareness, Anomaly. We use these products in good faith, and I think they screwed us. They have zero shame. I agree. Thank you. Appreciate all the superstar chats and stuff on Facebook. Thank you so much. Who just gave one? Thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate you. Someone said, what sources do you use for COVID-19? I'm very hesitant on. I mean, when I look at the data, you have to understand it is what it is. You could believe as much as you want, but I go to worldometers.info. If you go to worldometers.info and you go to the coronavirus section, why I like that website, it's the pretty straightforward standard data, but they have a way that you can kind of schedule it, or I'm trying to say organize it. So if you hit deaths per capita, you see in deaths per capita. You could see cases. It's easy to organize. So that's why sometimes they fearmonger about these variants. Well, what's the death rate? They fearmonger about the Delta variant. Does anybody know what the death rate is in the UK? I bet it's not as high as you think it is. Well, they're fearmongering about India, right? India is so bad because there's so many cases. Well, how many people are in India? There's over 1 billion people, I think. I'm not quite sure. And then deaths per capita, deaths per 10,000 people or 100,000 people. Well, it's not even top 100. So when I was looking, it was like 109. I'm talking 100 countries had more deaths per capita than India. These are the games that they play. So I want to say that's a good place to start, but take it with a grain of salt. Israel said you are a CCP plant. Israel, I'm reading that because you're spamming it. This is the binary thinking, bro. They got you. There's nothing CCP about me. I've never shown support for the CCP. I disagree with communism. I think Mao Zedong killed tens of millions of people. I'm an American citizen. But this is when you just listen to Trump on loop, that's all you know how to say. It's like, I'm focused on the election. You're the CCP. There's a bigger game going on. So, instead of accusing me falsely of working for a country I've never been with a political party and a policy that I make several videos about, I'm just saying this, Israel. I don't even have to entertain this, but I enjoy discussion. Try to find a conservative who's done better video, and I'm sure they exist. Find a conservative who's done better, more revealing videos about communism, who's gotten as many views as I did, exposing communism. You probably can't find it. You probably follow people that are allegiant to another country. I don't have allegiance to China. I have allegiance to America. But you follow a certain group of people that keeps just yelling China, but they don't actually do anything about China. For an example, I have no support for China. I'm an American citizen. They bamboozled us. But all these people are yelling China, China, China on the right. Okay, I agree. So what are they going to do about it? How come China didn't do an mRNA vaccine? How come they're giving their people a different vaccine, but Trump is pushing the Moderna and the Pfizer? How come China opened up after 2 months and America didn't open up for 4 or 5 months? How come all these Republicans talk so much shit on China, but we keep getting Chinese goods because we're not self-dependent? So it's like, You love when they talk. All they say is China, 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 but they don't actually do anything. Trump does a deal with China and gets the better end of them. China helps shut down the world, and we get the worst end of the stick, and they yell China, and you just yell CCP. Just because you yell CCP doesn't mean you're fighting the CCP. Trump got dominated by the CCP. I like America and Trump more than I like China. Trump got his ass handed to him, but people think just because he puts on a show that he's fighting them. How is he fighting them? We're dependent on their goods. They send us pharmaceutical products. They lock down for 2 months. We lock down for a year. What aspect are we getting the better end? We're getting destroyed by them, and Republicans just yell China because the guy they like says China. I'm not a fan of communism, but at a certain point, I believe, to be quite honest, Trump, McConnell, Pelosi, Schumer, all these Democrats and Republicans, they did more damage to America than China did. Is the virus bad? Of course. Did it come from China? I think that's obvious. Who did the lockdown? Did China lock us down? Did China do 15 days to slow the spread? Did China put Fauci on television for a month? No, Trump did that. Did China do Operation Warp Speed? China didn't do Operation Warp Speed. If you Google, they're not giving their people mRNA vaccines. America is. So Trump and McConnell and Pelosi and Biden are doing more damage to our country, and they just scream China with no solution on how to actually get the better end of China. I don't agree with what they're doing, but it's like they're playing 5D chess, and the left wing is blaming white supremacists for everything, and the right wing is blaming China, and nobody's actually doing anything. Israel said just saying, you could be entitled to your opinion, but it's like that's part of the problem, dude. I'm not trying to be. Someone said you don't have to be a fan of the CCP to work for them. Bro, why would the CCP pay somebody to expose communism? What part of what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you? I'm not trying to be rude, but this is the problem with the Trump movement. Trump has programmed people, and they're like pull string dolls. I have no problem talking about the CCP. I'll talk about it for an hour if you want. I'll talk about how they used 5G technology before it was in America to use it to control their citizens with the 5G, control system in order to digitally and video surveil their citizens years ago. And during March, when Trump did 15 days to slow the spread, he rolled out that same technology in America. And after that same technology was rolled out in America, all of a sudden we're under Chinese surveillance a year before Biden got there. So I have no problem talking about the CCP and how America turned into China because of poor leadership on both sides. But in general, it's like people have turned into pull string dolls because all they do is support Trump, and they just say the same 5 things on loop. CCP, election audit, CCP. I'll talk about the CCP. I'll talk about the election audit. I have no problem, but it's like, is there anything else there? Or do you just like repeat words and then accuse people of being agents when you're not able to have a discussion about what they're saying? It's neutralized the right wing. It's turned the right wing useless. They go to rallies, listen to Trump brag about building a wall 4 years ago. No offense, like your grandpa who tells old glory stories. He doesn't mention the medical tyranny barely at all. He doesn't mention vaccine segregation barely at all. That's America doing it to America. China's not doing that to their citizens. Why are we doing it? Because the right wing just yells CCP when someone comes along and actually tries to say something about it. So why would it doesn't even make sense, bro. I want to read this real quick. Jessica said, yeah, I don't like that type of behavior. It seems like Q to be a big part of making it feel like a cult. I'll say this. A lot of people supported that stuff, but how it ruined, in my opinion, the Trump movement is it started injecting all these ideas of like a big secret event. Even people who didn't follow it started to get, guided by it. Because if you love Trump and things are going great, you want something better to happen. If you love Trump and the lockdown starts, you want to believe there's a secret good ending that isn't his supporters getting set up on January 6th. So the Q thing injected, I would say, Operation Trust, Bolshevik-style propaganda into the Trump movement to say, don't do anything, trust the plan. Don't question Trump, trust the plan. Don't question the Republican Party. You must be a CCP agent. You must be working with Mossad. If you question the plan, trust the plan. What does it do when 50 million people are complacent? And then when somebody actually stands up and says, listen, I like Trump. I'm going to vote for him, but I don't agree with medical tyranny. I don't agree with the lockdowns. I don't agree with what's going on. And then all these people turn at you and call you a CCP agent or Mossad. that only neutralized the Trump movement. The Q stuff and this stuff that this guy's talking about, it's neutralizing the conservative. There are no conservatives anymore conserving the Constitution. They're conserving this fantasy that Trump is their God, that he's got this secret super plan to save their world. And the final event was nothing that the Q people promised. For years they said, and I know they always lie about this stuff, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I debated some of these people years ago, and I said, it sounds like you want martial law. It sounds like you actually want them to shut things down. And they said, well, yeah, because there's good guys in the government, and when they shut the country down, they're going to arrest all the pedophiles. And I'm like, so you support martial law because you think that's going to happen? Yeah. So when the lockdown happened, they're never going to admit it. They're pathological liars. They always move the goalposts and act like they never did it. They all supported the lockdown because they thought Trump had a secret plan to arrest everybody with the lockdown. 5 months into the lockdown, they changed their story. And then what did they tell everybody? They're going to lie. People like X2 Report, X22 Report, and all these people, but they promised people, and they were trying to lead people to think Trump will be the president on January 20th. If you go to the Capitol, they're brainwashing people. Trump will be president. Mike Pence is going to overturn the election. You know, all these people. And then people go to the 6th on the event. Did the pedophiles get locked up? No. Trump supporters got locked up. Trump supporters got set up, and tens of thousands of people had their lives ruined, even people who didn't even commit a crime just for being there supporting these other people. You get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be mean, but it brainwashed the Trump movement into an event that destroyed their entire lives, and people still don't get it. If you talk about it, they act like I'm working for China. It doesn't even make sense. Why would China want to warn you about this? It's so obvious, but brainwash goes both ways. If you're programmed to say like 3 things on loop and you can't have a discussion about this, it's been the demise of the Trump movement. And one of the biggest posters on BitChute are all these fraudulent pathological liars who every day move the carrot, move the goalpost, move the carrot, and just take half truths and build this fantasy story of what they wish was happening that MAGA moms are falling for because they have too much time on their hands because they're locked in their house now. Not being mean, I'm just being honest. Someone said, I have a friend, we got so caught up in it, she lost a year of her life, she's not all right yet. There's millions of people like that who are literally giving all these people who want to take you down, you're giving them a reason. They look at people like the Q people, and these agencies look at that like these people really are this brainwash. So you're giving them reasons to go after everybody because they look at some of the shit you guys are saying and they're like, oh yeah, this is legit. And it's like, guys, it's just like set up, and people keep falling for it, and then you get other people in trouble. It's like, just stop. Karina said, Q made me so insane. It made a lot of people insane because they take real things. They take things like human trafficking, which are real, and Trump, which is real, and craft this masterful story. So everything that happens, you just sit there waiting for a magic popsicle plan to come out. It's a brainwashing scheme. For the first couple of years, I didn't care. I'm like, people could believe what they want to believe. When the lockdowns came, they will never admit it, but people thought it was good because they were like, oh, Q talked about the lockdowns. It's 15 days of darkness. On Easter, everybody's going to get arrested. Any day now. And then they move the goalposts, and then they move the goalposts, and then they move the goalposts, and then they move the goalposts. It's been 3.5 years later, and they're still moving the goalposts, and people are still believing it because they've lost touch with reality. If up isn't up and down isn't down, and anytime Trump says something, he means what he says, but he doesn't mean what he says. If he says something that you don't want to hear, then he means therapeutic. You guys people are acting like psychopaths. So now all these intel communities are probably looking at you and being like, these people are psychopaths. You know, these people are losing their mind. You're like the perfect excuse. They're using that as an in to go after everybody. And a lot of it is bullshit. And a lot of these people are probably frauds, but there are real people who are literally just brainwashing people on a daily basis. When Trump says vaccine, he means therapeutic. Do you know how many people believe that Trump is actually going to come back into office before the election? Trump himself is saying that. Vaccine salesman Trump, I'm going to be back in office maybe before the next election. It's like, dude, no, you're not. I mean, I would love to be proven wrong, but He's just stringing people along and setting people up and making people look insane. And then it never happens. You thought Mike Pence was going to overturn the election on the 6th. Now you think the audits are going to be so successful that Trump gets back into office. You seriously think the Biden administration is just going to walk out the door and allow Trump to take over? You believe the military is going to do some secret fun? Bro, you guys are going to get raided and set up so hard for believing this crap, because then you're going to start saying this crap. And once you say this stupid crap, then they're going to read it and be like, this person's literally a terrorist. This person is doing terroristic stuff. It's such an obvious setup. How many people got set up on January 6th doing stupid crap? And people are like, oh, Trump's going to be in office soon. If you want to get set up, keep talking about that and believing that. It's such an obvious plant in order to get people to stay and do stupid crap so they can continue to make these events out of thin air. Trump tells you to go and set you up. I mean, how do people not realize by now? You probably have a bunch of patriots like, oh, any day now, I listen to X-22 report and the military's in control and Trump's going to secretly take over the military. It's like, that's the ideology that got you set up on the 6th. These morons thought that Mike Pence was going to overturn the election, and then they freaked out when it didn't happen because it was never real, and a bunch of dummies just got in a group and did stupid crap. And now everybody has to pay for it. Have they learned a lesson? No, they're ready to, it's like, it reminds me of like the anti-Semitism, anti-Jewish sort of thing, where it's like, on one hand, there's way too much censorship of anti-Semitism and they're lying. And the more you lie about anti-Semitism censorship, the more people actually want to, the more people hate you. And then vice versa, there are actually a lot of people who are really just hateful people. And if you really are that hateful towards a group of people, they're going to see how hateful you are and they're going to get sensitive and start censoring a lot. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy with the anti-Semitism stuff. On one hand, you have a group of powerful people lying, calling everything anti-Semitic to cover up any sort of valid criticism. On another hand, you literally do have thousands of people who are actually really hateful in their heart. And when you do have real hate in your heart, you scare the crap out of people and then they do things that are irrational. It's the same thing as the Q crap. It's like, when you do stupid shit and say stupid shit, you're giving these people a reason to think you are who they think you are. And then they blame everybody else for the stupid shit you guys are thinking and you guys are doing. Stop it already. My God, how many times are you going to set up conservatives and Republicans? It's like, it's so obvious. How do people not learn on the 6th? It's so obvious. That's why when I talk about Zionism or Israel, I get away with it because I don't have hate in my heart. I don't hate people. I love my country and the Constitution. I don't blame innocent people. There are people who do, and then there are people who don't. But the people who do actually are very hateful and irrationally negative, you're setting everyone else up. Say what you mean. Don't censor yourself, but be kind, be fair. That's, if you're angry, you lost the plot. So you get what I'm saying? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They have angry people. They have liars who want to censor. And these people justify each other and grow. And that's why the division gets stronger and the censorship gets harder. Someone said, you're always crying. I'm never crying. If you want to be honest, I lost my voice for a few days. So I'm just getting my voice back. But, it's a little squeaky. Someone said they knew the double standards are obvious. I mean, there was a protest yesterday where people got arrested. People broke into the Capitol. I don't know, for the Kavanaugh thing. For sure, there's double standards. For sure, some people didn't know what they were doing. But in general, there's also stupid people. And in general, all I'm saying is don't walk into a trap. I know how the game works. I mean, I'm not trying to act like I'm super smart, but I'll tell you two instances where I probably saved my career, two events that I didn't go to because I didn't feel good about them. And it wasn't that I knew anything or anybody told me anything. I don't want to be everywhere. I don't want to be around everyone all the time. So, another event I got invited to that I didn't want to be on a panel, the people on the panel tried to shame me and say, oh my God, it was just like a random panel, like an event 2 years ago. I just didn't feel comfortable. I don't know. I didn't want to go. Just like certain shows I don't want to do. I don't want to be there. I don't feel like going. And then after I found out that one of the people on the thing was in this big scandal for this crazy crap that I want no part of. So it's like, if I would have went to that panel, it doesn't make it right. they're going to try to blame me for all this crazy crap that this person's doing just for being on a flyer with them. So not going to that event gave me the peace of mind. And I was also proven right because I didn't need to go. It wasn't that great of an event. And I don't want to be associated with certain people. And on the January 6th event, I had a bad feeling about it, not because I knew that people were going to go to the Capitol, because I just didn't trust Trump. After November, I gave him 3 months and he just Moderna, get my vaccine. I'm the vaccine man. I'm like, I don't trust this guy. He's just nonstop bragging about big pharma. So why would I go to his event? He just keeps saying the same thing. It's like a robot. I don't trust him. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be around a bunch of people who think that Mike Pence is secretly going to overturn the election. I don't want to be with a bunch of Q-tards, no offense, who think, oh, Lynn Wood told me that this is going to, it's like, no offense to Lynn Wood. It seems like a nice guy. I'm just saying, I didn't want to be around these people. I don't want to be associated with that. And that was the smartest thing I ever did. Because if I would have gone to that event, even if I didn't go in the Capitol, which I never would have, because I'm not a moron, I never would have even been close to it. They would have tried to blame me even harder than they already are trying to blame me right now. So this is my foresight, just realizing that certain people do stupid crap and I don't want to be anywhere near them. So, I'm just hoping people stop doing, is it double standards? Of course. Have liberals done crazy crap? Of course. Have they done Kavanaugh protests at a government building? They have. Did they get arrested doing something illegal yesterday? They did. Are they going to get charged the same way? They're not. But I know it's not a level playing field. It's not. So either you're going to cry and act like you didn't know, or you're going to know and stop following stupid people to stupid events where someone's going to do stupid shit and you're going to get blamed. I knew this for years. That's why for years I've been telling people, leave me off the flyer. Why did I want to be left off the flyer at an event that I might have not even attended? I don't want to be associated with all these people on the flyer. I'm glad I thought like this for years. I'm not paranoid. I see what's going on. I see how they're trying to classify everyone as terrorists. I see how they're trying to blame me for everybody I spoke with. So if I speak at an event with 10 people, where 5 of them, I don't even know who they are, I don't want to be on the flyer. It's not that I know that these people are doing anything. It's just like, I don't want this people to try to blame me for other shit a year later. What if something, it's just like, leave me off that shit. So I'm not saying that it's fair. It's not fair. The double standards are real, but at a certain point, you should know that the playing field's not level. So if you're going to walk into a trap, knowing it's a trap, and then complain it was a trap and the left wouldn't have got trapped, what, you going to keep doing this stuff? Keep following the queue? The military's in control, folks. Do you know what happens when you have thousands of people following a psyop saying the military's in control? These people have been begging or hoping for martial law. So now you have a bunch of dummy moron Trump supporters, first of all, wanting something to happen that is completely anti-constitutional, completely, in my opinion, anti-libertarian. This is like a libertarian's nightmare is martial law, and it's the dream of the Q-tards, no offense. And now they're begging for it, but now you look like you're doing something wrong because you're following a psyop that's lying to you, acting like your life's going to be saved if government takes over areas, which they did in March and April, and they were begging it on. So it's like, you're not only wrong, you're not only destroying the conservative movement, you're not only getting everyone else in trouble, you're not only completely deceived, but you're also giving them the perfect excuse to target you, which they're doing, and they're targeting you, and then they're using it to target everyone else. It's so obvious, but people love to just lose. It's like, I wouldn't care if it's just you, but now you're getting me and Tucker and everyone else in trouble for the stupid crap that you're doing that no one else wants any part of. It's like, people are going to do this shit for 3 years. You're giving them the perfect excuse to look at you. These people are not violent. They're just stupid. No offense. I'm going to read this real quick. Joy said, I wasn't trying to follow Q, but was curious about it, listened to some of it, and I guess I wanted it to be true because I wanted the corruption to be exposed. That's how they operate. Human trafficking is bad, right? Of course it is. Drain the swamp, right? Of course it is. It's secretly happening. Don't worry. Ignore reality. It's all happening when the military takes over. Oh, I want to believe it because that's what I want to. That's how they lure you in. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm just saying that's exactly how they operate and that's the psyop. It's like things don't happen unless people stand firm and ask for them to happen. If you're in this belief that it's happening behind closed doors every day, every hour, every minute,
you become useless. You get what I'm saying? That's the whole psyop. They tell you what you want to hear. That's why they call it hopium. Hopium. It's like if you take an actual supplement, you get an effect. If you take fake hopium, you get like a toxic thing. It's like the equivalent to taking like fentanyl instead of taking a pill that you're supposed to take. It's like it's inorganic. It's fake. Real. And then they say, well, you don't believe in hope. It's like they're like crackheads. Like, no, if you want to take a legal supplement that's good for you, that's one thing. If you're smoking crack, like you don't want to smoke crack, it's fake. You're going to feel good for 30 minutes and then you're going to ruin your life. That's what the Q stuff does. It makes you feel good because it's what you want to believe, but it's not real. It's fake hope. And they think they have a monopoly on hope. Oh, you don't have hope? My hope doesn't revolve in falling for psyops where you think the military's in control. You are who they think other people are. So they're using you as an excuse to go after everybody else. 99.9% of Trump supporters don't want martial law, don't think the military is in control, don't believe any of this crap. But millions of people getting brainwashed by these idiots on BitChute are now thinking, oh my God, actually, yeah, maybe it is true. Maybe I do want it to happen. So it is true. And they're using that to target everybody. That's the whole trick. Someone said, at least we're getting too jacked for the gulag. It is what it is. There's always going to be tricks and traps and nonsense, but I'm just letting people, I'm going to read this. Ali said, like my friend believes Trump will be back in office by August. Do you know how many times these people lied? I have friends like that too. First, they said he's going to be back on January 6th and January 20th and March 4th, and now it's August. All they do is lie. They're pathological liars. When he's not in office in August, it's September now, they're going to blame, oh, I never said August, I said November. All they do is lie. And what do you think these people want to treat Trump supporters like they're liars, like they're stupid? This is how they've looked at Trump supporters forever. So what happens when you actually are stupid and you are a liar? You're giving them a reason to hate you. You're giving them a reason to go after you. The Q people are ruining the Trump movement. And it's not just Q people, it's people who have idolized Trump. I've done a whole video on it. I don't care if you like Trump, voted for him, appreciate him. If you think he's a Christ that's going to return in a Christ-like fashion to save your whole world because you think he could get back in office, you're brainwashed. And you don't understand that your irrational thoughts and your irrational statements are now setting everybody else up. You're not just setting yourself up, you're setting the whole movement up. You're setting the whole conservative and libertarian movement up. It's so obvious, What you should do is be like a rational, reasonable person. So if they look at you, they're like, that person's actually pretty reasonable. You know what? I don't hate that person. That's what makes people like conservatives. When I put out my video that got 18 million views, I didn't put out this fake bullshit that looked stupid. I said, I didn't vote for Trump, but here's why he's not that bad. And you know why millions of liberals saw it and realized conservatives weren't that bad? Because I'm not a psycho, because I'm not making up all these stupid claims that I can't prove. I'm telling things real. I talked about, I talked about human trafficking in that video. The Q people don't have a monopoly on human trafficking talk. They use it and then they lie about other stuff. I talked about human trafficking in that video, and that also drew people in. But I didn't lie to them once I drew them in. I told them all the reasons Trump wasn't that bad, and that makes liberals not hate you. And that makes people realize that you're not extreme or stupid. And then you have these Q people and all these people who believe the Q people and who worship Trump. You are what the left thinks you are. You are an idiot. No offense, but it's like you are brainwashed. They try to say Cole 45. Most Trump supporters are not brainwashed, but clearly some are. If you can't get over the fact that he didn't win, whether you think it was real or not, he's not. You think he's coming back in a office in August? These are the same people that acted like they were 100% sure in January and then in March. And then it's like you are what they think you are. They're using people like you to hate, to target. You're becoming exactly what people were never supposed to be. It's such an obvious setup, but this just shows you how toxic double party politics are. It's like, you're giving them every reason to think you're cult members. You're acting like cult members. So now they're going to investigate you, target you, and treat you like cult members. So if you don't want to be treated like a cult member, stop acting like one. I don't act like one, but I'm getting blamed for one because of all these other people who literally act like that. And I'm tired of it too. I voted for him. I supported him when it was not popular to, support him on topics that he was right about. But when this crap's happening, it makes it really hard to want to do anything, because you're not only setting yourself up, you're setting up everybody. And you know what? People like me and Tucker Carlson, we're honest, we're effective. They're going to come for us before they come for you. You're going to screw it up for everybody else. And then they're going to use it as an excuse to go after Tucker Carlson, because he actually reaches people, because he has people like Glenn Greenwald and stuff on. So be smart, guys. Come on. Someone said, so why is DC empty? No one's saying anything about it. I don't know, because they locked it down. They did a lockdown, and now they're probably afraid of backlash because they're so terrible. So they're trying to keep this narrative going. Here's what I don't want to get too far into, but in January, all these Q fraudulent con artists, controlled op idiots were saying, oh, the military being in DC just shows you that Trump's in power. The military is going to come back and save us. Really, the military was there to present this symbolism of, all of these terrorists raided the Capitol on the 6th, and we need to protect ourselves from the terrorists. So they brought in the military. They were not there for you. They were there against you. They were there to protect themselves from you. They were there to paint this narrative that all these Trump supporters are trying to destroy us. So all these Q idiot controlled op freaks started saying, oh, that just proves that Trump's in power. They lied about January 6th. They lied about January 20th. They lied about March. They're lying about August. They never stop lying. They keep setting you up. And people still say, but then why is it empty? Maybe it's empty because they're still pushing the narrative that you guys are terrorists and everybody who likes Trump's a terrorist. So we need to protect ourselves from these bad people, not the military secretly in our back pocket. No, they're not. General Milley hates you. I'm not saying he personally hates you, but he's following left-wing ideology. The military is under the control of the current president, and they're not doing what you want them to do. They're doing the opposite of what you want them to do. The Q-controlled op people are trying to, oh man, why it doesn't make sense. Why else would they be freaking out about it if he's not coming back? They've been doing this for 3.5 years, folks, and it didn't end like they said it was going to end. It didn't end in all of your enemies getting arrested. It ended in tens of thousands of Trump supporters getting set up. Do you want to get set up again? Are people serious? How bad do you want to get set up again? It's like, oh, I didn't learn it's coming now. I'm not trying to be mean to the person who commented it, but it's like millions of people just want to get set up and want to get destroyed. It's so annoying. Someone said this is like a live meme. The live streams are fire. What can I say? Oh my gosh. It's not what people want to hear, but I mean, how many times are you guys going to get set up? Please stop, for everyone's sake. Trevor said, are you still getting too jacked for the gulag? Why? I broke my thumb, so I haven't really been able to get jacked. I'm definitely trying to get jacked, but I broke my, let me see, you can kind of see it, but I had an avulsion fracture in my thumb and it got displaced. So it's not good. Honestly, I mean, I should be fine in a month or so, but I can't really work out because I broke my thumb. I'm really ticked off at my friend because, I was training in boxing. I wasn't doing hard stuff, and he was moving the bags. He screwed up. So I'm very furious with him because I wasn't trying to get in a spar or anything. Like if I was going to spar, it's one thing, but he just didn't move the bag. So when you're a trainer, you say punch here, punch here, punch here. He told me to do an uppercut, and he didn't put the bag in the proper spot, and his elbow is there, so I punched his elbow. It's not because I messed up. He messed up. So he broke my thumb, gave me terrible advice. It was broken for a month. It's been displaced for a month. So my thumb is screwed up. This is my main hand. I don't want to get annoyed about it, but this is my primary hand. I can't use it. It's displaced. It might never be the same. I mean, I'm furious with that kid. So in general, it is what it is, but I'm getting over it. But you can't work out when your thumb's broken. All right. We got to end on a good note. Someone said an opportunity to neurologically rewire and become more powerful using your other hand. Unfortunately, I could try, but I'm very heavily dominant with my left hand. Someone said your Facebook feed's blocked. It's not blocked. They just send out a fake link so nobody could find it. It's not blocked. It's Someone said I prayed for your thumb. Well, thank you. Someone said I got a fractured T9 in my spine. One good thing is I met a lot of people with a lot of injuries. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. It could always be better. It could always be worse, but it's all good. My spike foot healed well. It's true. It's going to heal. I'm going to use it eventually, but it slowed down. It slowed down my workout routine, and I'm kind of pissed because I was trying to get in Olympic shape, but it's okay. I mean, it is what it is. There's always a reason for everything, so I'm over it, but it's not fun. It could be worse, though, for sure. Thumbs too jacked for the gulag. Unbelievable. Yeah, I also lost my voice a few days ago, so I'm gonna get there. Someone said, I saw footage of T calling the rally at the Capitol. It's going to be wild. Then later, someone closer to the day, he told people to be peaceful. Did he know? Crazy. Yeah, I think he said to be peaceful, but well, I don't want to revisit this again. But you know, as a leader, if I know that it's not a smart idea, he should know. And in general, it's not like he had an event at the Capitol. I'm not blaming him, but it's not like he had an event where everybody in attendance knew what was going on. He lied to everybody in attendance. Michael Flynn lied to everybody in attendance. Mike Lindell lied to everybody in attendance. People like Lynn Wood, I'm not going to say he's lying, but he's making all these things that are hyping it up. So I would assume that 50+% of the people there thought Trump was going to be in office. I didn't think he was going to be in office. Obviously there's a possibility of anything, but it's like they thought Mike Pence was going to overturn the election. Trump set his own supporters up. How are you going to tell them that the vice president is going to save your life? You think the vice president has that power? People are like, no, Anomaly, you don't understand the rules. He's going to do something that hasn't been done in 150 years where he sends the electorates back to Pennsylvania. Mike Pence, you're out of your mind. It's like, you know, people got set up and they act crazy. And then now everyone's getting treated like everyone's crazy. And I think 99% of the people there were peaceful and had no idea what they were doing. But you get if you follow a dumb leader, you get dumb results. So, I mean, I'm annoyed because it affects me. If I never got called over it, obviously I wouldn't have been thrilled about it, but now they're trying to blame me for the stupid shit other people are doing. Now I'm a little bit pissed off. Trump set me up multiple times, not purposely, hopefully, but you know, the lockdown, the freaking 6th event, and people are still going to act like it's like, I'm over it. Someone said Penn should have turned it back to the states to have votes audited. Connie, listen, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to respect what I'm saying. If you think the best thing to do is Mike Pence on January 6th, 14 days before the new president's going to be sworn in, the best thing he could do is send it back for an audit 14 days before it, you've lost your mind. Mike Pence does not have that much power. All these states, I know people don't want to hear this, but this is the truth. Pennsylvania, all these Republican states, they didn't have to send the electors in to Mike Pence or to whoever checks them. They did it. They already did it. And then people got pissed at them and they put on an act just like Trump. We didn't mean to do that. Now we have more information. Bring them back and we'll change them. They're not going to change them. They just tried to point the blame. And Trump, instead of admitting, he pointed the blame at Pence and they all pointed at Pence. I don't even like Pence. I don't trust Pence. I think he was complicit in the lockdown stuff too. But come on, guys. Oh, he had to send him back. Where do you think Mike Pence changed? He sends the electorates back to the people who already sent him in. They could have done an audit beforehand, but they didn't. They lied to you. They lied to you because they were scared of the Trump cult blaming them for the election. So instead of confessing we screwed up, they said, oh, it's Pence can send them back. You think they were going to overturn the election, guys? Trump brainwashed you. And Trump supporters brainwash you. I'm going to break my thumb again, fucking hitting the thing. Excuse my language. But wake up, guys. The more you fall for this crap, the more you get set up, the more you get in trouble, the more you lose the country, the more you get people like me in trouble. Just stop already. Mike, if you think you lost, you messed up. The lawsuits didn't go through. I thought they could maybe go through. The counting and stuff. It wasn't what we thought. It's okay. Royd said, I personally feel like Trump is the Antichrist. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back into office in August. It's a crazy prediction, but thank you for the super chat. That would be wild, but hopefully not. I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not like a Mike Pence fanatic. I always like Trump a lot, and Mike Pence a politician. It's like, what part of a November election, if your only saving grace is Mike Pence somehow manipulating the result? And what people don't realize, I'm going to say this too. Listen, people might not like it, but I feel like I'm on fire today. I'm biased because I'm myself, but whatever. Everything you claim to do and you don't do will be used against you, okay? So Trump said for 4 years, drain the swamp, arrest them, lock them up. And he didn't do anything. So guess what they're doing? Now they're coming after you, because when you talk big shit and you don't deliver, you get screwed. Trump screwed you, okay? So once again, on January 6th, if you're going to say Pence should overturn the election, but they don't do anything, now you're opening the door for Kamala Harris to do that in 4 years. So you keep screwing yourself. You keep screwing yourself, the country. What part don't you get? If you say lock them up and I'm going to drain the swamp and you don't, you just screwed your supporters. If you say you're going to overturn the election with the vice president and you're not going to do it, you just open the door for them to do it. And guess what? Democrats actually have enough balls. They probably will do it. And you just screwed yourself. Like, come on, guys. Everything that Trump is telling people to do, you're just shooting yourself in the foot and digging a deeper and deeper hole that the Democrats are then going to do. Republicans don't have the balls to do that, but Democrats don't give a crap. They'll probably do it. And when it happens, you deserve it because you set yourself up. If you're going to talk all this big stuff, you have to do something. If you're going to get into office and say you're going to do all this stuff, and instead you hire General Milley and a bunch of people who don't even like you, and then you leave office and set your supporters up, what do you think's going to happen? Yeah, of course they're going after Trump and all his supporters because Trump acted like he was going to do all this crap, and then he just sold vaccines for a year. So, it's not all his fault, but like, this is human nature. The Democrats don't like you. They don't like you the same way you don't like them. You hate them, they hate you. So Trump made all these claims, didn't do it. And now they're doing everything Trump said he was going to do to them, to you. Someone said, you lie, spot the lie. Trump said he was going to lock them up. He didn't lock anyone up. Now his supporters are getting locked up. Why? Because he talked the talk for 4 years and made all these crazy claims that no other politicians made, didn't do it. And now the Democrats who actually have balls are doing it to you. Am I wrong? Is that not what you get what I'm saying? It's like, I didn't mind his mouth, but it's like, okay, then do something. Like there's corrupt people in both parties. So, okay, now what? You talk the biggest shit, didn't do anything, set your own supporters up, and now they're coming after your supporters. Like, duh, that's how human nature works. Tina said, I'm gone. I don't care who stays or goes. This is what you don't want to hear. Like, do you not realize it's human nature? If you say you're going to do all this stuff and you don't do it, then they get into power. They do it to you. And Democrats aren't weak. They're doing it. I'm not a Democrat. I don't support what they're doing. I think it's wrong and wicked, but they're doing what Trump said he was going to do to you. That's what happens. That's how life works. I don't support it, but it's like, that's the game. Someone said you're very wrong and very opinionated. What I just said shouldn't even be that controversial. I've said much more controversial things. Here, I'm going to say it again. And then tell me what part you disagree with. I think the part people disagree with, maybe I'm wrong, is they just don't want to understand that that's what happened. What part of what I said? If you say you're going to lock them up and drain the swamp and throw people in jail for 4 years, and you don't do that, and then the people that you said you were going to throw in jail get into the White House and they start throwing your supporters into jail. What part of that is so opinionated and controversial? That's literally what happened. Please dissect what I just said. The only difference is I'm the only Republican conservative who will say that because it's true. I'm not just some shill who just posts a bunch of stupid crap that everyone posts. I'm a real thinker. That's true. What part of that do you disagree with? Let me know. The part you disagree with is you don't want to face the truth. You want to keep rallying behind the Moderna salesman and get set up every 6 months. Well, enjoy the setup because you're going to get set up. It shouldn't even be controversial what I just said. It has nothing to do with Trump. It's human nature. If you say you're going to throw people in jail for 4 years, don't do it, and they get into power, then they throw you in jail. Either you got to not say that and not do it, or say it and do it. You can't say it and not do it. Now they're going to do it. Someone said it's funny because it's true. That should be my least controversial opinion. If you say it, that's fine. Then do it. If you don't do it, then don't say it. If you say it and don't do it, then they get into power and they did it. That's what happened. They're probably laughing hysterically. They're like, this idiot said he was going to do it. We've been in office for 6 months and we actually did it. Ha ha. We're going after Giuliani. We're going after Trump. That's literally what happens. It's not right. It's not good, but that's what happens when you talk a lot of shit and then you don't do anything. And I'm not hating. I'm just saying that's human nature. Someone said, we definitely got locked up. The swamp suffered not one consequence. We will keep fighting each other. They will keep escalating and taking over by inch. I think that's the game. Someone said, you have truth, bro, but you wish-wash a lot. Listen, I could take it. You could call me a crybaby. You could make fun of my hair. I don't care. I'm not a softie. What I just said is one of the realest things anyone said in a while in the Trump movement. And everybody's mad, not because I'm wishy-washy, not because I complain a lot, not because I'm opinionated. People are mad because what I just said is true and no one else has the balls to say it. What I just said is true. What part of this is wishy-washy? Trump said he was going to lock him up, didn't lock him up. So the people that he said he was going to lock up got into power. Trump threw a stupid event on the 6th, didn't do anything, got his supporters in trouble, and now they're getting locked up. What about that's wishy-washy? Nothing. You just don't want to hear it because it's wrong? No. Because I'm wishy-washy? No. Because I'm opinionated? No. Because that's the truth, and you don't want to hear the truth because you'd rather follow the Pied Piper vaccine salesman and cue people like, no, guys, he had a plan for you. It took Biden a month to throw to throw Trump supporters in jail. It took Trump 4 years to lock the country down and go out the door and get his supporters set up. Oh, I'm so opinionated. What's the opinion? That happened. You could say he didn't mean to. You could say it was a mistake. You could say it's double standards. You could say it's whatever. Say what you want. That's what happened. I'm accurately depicting history. There's nothing wish-washy about it. It's just people don't want the truth. You want the convenient lie. You want the YouTuber and the Facebooker who just rides Trump's coattails, lies a bunch, acts like a big macho man, and then sets you up for failure and then cuts out the back door when it's convenient. It's not. I'm not blaming Trump. I'm just saying this goes beyond Trump or politics. It's like if you say you're going to do something as big as locking someone up and you're in political power and you don't do that, and then you lose the power to the people that you threatened, they have the option to go after you. And that's what they're doing to everybody who surrounded himself from Trump. He set everyone up for failure. You can appreciate him, but I don't even think this is like a top 50 controversial opinion of mine. I have opinions about things. Like, I don't even think this is top 50. Someone said, we come here for your opinion. Well, some people come here for the factual videos because, I'll let people know when I have an opinion. But to me, this isn't even controversial. It's not even like a top 50 shocker. It's like, that's how life works. And if you read the comments, I'm not trying to be mean. I God bless the Trump family. In order to cope with what's going on, just read some of the comments. People, on one hand, think Trump is the smartest guy in the world, and I think he's very smart too. And on the other hand, they think he's like the dumbest, most naive, foolish person on the planet. So it's like he's your idol, and you follow him because he's so great. But he's so everybody he trusts, he just doesn't know. He trusted Barr. He trusted. At what point do you actually look in the mirror and say, maybe he just doesn't care? Maybe I'm trying to make him into this idol, and he doesn't have the same ideals as me. Maybe he wasn't like, it's like, oh, he's this playing 5-dimensional chess. But on the other hand, he just always doesn't know who's who. It's like, maybe, I'm sure it's very difficult to be in power, but at a certain point, it's just like a sad movement. The movement is just filled with excuses. Like, so everyone says, what's the solution? The solution is not to turn into a full-time excuse maker. It's like, well, he just didn't know all these people. It's like, okay, then why do you want him back so bad? If he doesn't know anything and puts all these people in that hate you, why do you get what I'm saying? It's like, at what point do you just stop doing this stuff and like we move on and actually accomplish something? It's so crazy. Do I not think people were there to sabotage him? I think over time, whether you can do something or not, your character shines through. Who you are, what you care about, whether Trump can do something or not. Over the last year and a half, I know you're not going to want to admit it. I appreciate the hard work he put in. I feel bad for people who did him wrong when he was doing right. But over the last year and a half, Trump has proven to me he doesn't care what I care about. He doesn't care about medical tyranny. He doesn't care about the fact that we're being treated like slaves. He doesn't care about forced vaccination as much as he cares about bragging about bringing the vaccine. He doesn't care about all the people who suffered during the lockdowns because, he helped bring them there. He's just not who I thought he was. And it's okay. I still think, in some ways he did some good things, but like, you think he's just this moron who just is doing all this stuff you disagree with and just has no idea. I just think he doesn't care. Why did he pass an anti-Semitism speech law? Oh, he doesn't know any better. He's fooled. He's not fooled. That's what they do. The big money and the big interest pushes their agenda, and he does exactly what Obama or Biden would have done because that's what they all do. So at a certain point, I'm not acting like he's this horrible, terrible person, but it's like at a certain point, I've just come to the terms where it's like, no, I don't think that he's just the most foolish person ever, or that everyone surrounded by him was just out to get him all the time and he just did the right thing all the time. I just think he wasn't who people thought he was. He was a good talker and a good salesman. He's really good at selling the idea that he was doing what you thought he was doing. And I realized this multiple times when he started selling something that I knew was wrong. He's damn good at it. Just like Mike Lindell's damn good at selling pillows. It's like he was good at convincing people that he was doing something he wasn't doing. So I don't want to talk about it because I don't like to talk negatively about others. But in general, it's like I think the cult of Trump worships him like he just really cared. And I really don't think he gives a shit about you guys at all. And it shows. Even if you were forced to do this stuff, he doesn't care about students who are getting forced vaccinated. He's talked about it once for 30 seconds, and he's talked about bringing it for hours. He doesn't care about you, but it's like you want him to care about you so bad. And you think he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about the supporters who got set up at the Capitol. He doesn't care about the people he misled. He doesn't care about bringing metal to, he doesn't care. That's what I think. I think you think he cares so much, and I don't think he cares. So someone said, okay, pick Trump or Biden. That's what we talked about earlier. Okay, drink. I mean, I'm not telling people to do it, but it's like poop or pee. What do you like better? It's like, I get it. Yeah. I voted for him, but do you not realize who printed trillions of dollars? Pop quiz. Both of them. So at what point do you take a stand and say, I'm not going to accept this from either. Or I'm going to be smart enough to not just bow down to this. There's no incentive for the Republicans under Trump to do anything because his supporters love losing. They love getting set up. They love trillions of dollars. They love Operation Warp Speed. As long as Trump does it, who cares? Why would they stop? They have no incentive to stop because everybody eats it up. It's not his fault. It's his supporters' fault. I can't believe a year and a half after lockdown that people are this silly. It's like, it's so sad. The elites look at people like they're stupid, like they're cattle. They look at you like you're stupid cattle. The smartest thing to do if you want to preserve some sort of liberty in the next 10 years would be not acting like that. But if you act that stupid, you're almost proving them right. And I'm not calling that specific person stupid, but I'm just saying they look at the population like they don't even deserve freedom. And then people fall for the same stupid traps on the left and the right. And they're like, you're like proving them right. I'm not saying it's right. I think humans should be treated like humans, but if you act like a sheep, they're going to treat you like a sheep. If you make excuses for why you're losing your freedom, they're probably laughing hysterically. Like these people pretend to be conservatives, but they don't even care. They'll spend more time making excuses over a character than they will actually caring. It's so obvious. Someone said, I didn't come here for the Trump bash. Can we move on? It's my live stream. Why even come? Go follow some liar who'll get you set up again. Well, I came here. I mean, this is why the Q thing is so popular. You go on BitChute, it's got 100,000 views. Hey, guys, did you hear that Trump's coming back in August? Did you hear that the only reason the military doesn't like you anymore is because they're secretly in control and they have to put on an act and they're pretending to be Marxists, and in July they're going to make a move in August, and the martial law and the blackouts and the 15 days to slow the spread was really just a therapeutic, and the therapeutic pew think church. They closed down the church and they put Tom Hanks and Chrissy Teigen in the church, and they're getting the voodoo spirits out of them, and you just trust the plan, and you go to the Capitol and you get set up, and then you don't even realize it and you make excuses for it and you get set up again. If you want to follow someone like that, go follow someone like that. I'm not that person. There's thousands of influencers who are going to set you up just like they did on January 6th. So do you want to get set up? Do you want to get lied to? Do you want to let communism take over? Then go find someone else. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You want some militarist opinion about what's going on from some moron who just exploits conservatives for their own financial gain? Go find them. There's thousands of them that message me privately and they say, thank you so much, Anomaly, for saying what you're saying. Thank you so much. I wish I could say that, but I can't. I wish I could say that, but I won't. I know it's true, but I don't want to say it. You don't think I've had conversations with certain people, and I'm not trying to be dramatic or anything, but it's like they don't care. Okay, they're making money. They don't care. I know. Yeah, maybe it would be a good idea to stand up for the First Amendment like that, but I might lose this. I don't want to piss this person off. So what are you conserving then? Someone said I felt so betrayed by Trump. That's a normal feeling. That's a totally normal, smart. I mean, if you don't, you're a doormat. If you act like a doormat, you get treated like a doormat. It's like when Bernie Sanders, regardless of what you think about Bernie, when Bernie Sanders betrayed his own base, they tried so hard for him and he didn't even give a crap because it was probably all a show the whole time. And then he betrayed his audience. At that point, you have a decision. Are you a Bernie Sanders doormat, or do you actually believe in what you pretended to believe in? And millions of people said, I don't like Bernie anymore because I'm not a doormat for Bernie Sanders. I believe what I believe and I want to stand up for what's right. And you had millions of people who said, walk all over me, Bernie Sanders, keep lying to me. And he did the same thing in 2020. It's like he fooled you in 2016. You donate hundreds of millions of dollars to him again, and he does the same thing in 2020. If you didn't learn your lesson in 2016, if you like Bernie Sanders and you donate to him again just to turn into a Biden and Hillary supporter, you deserve that. It's not his fault. It's your fault for not learning in 2016. He did that and you begged for it and he did it again. It's the same thing with Trump. Like, people have a decision to make. You don't have to hate him, but if you're going to be a doormat, you're a doormat. If you feel betrayed in some way, that's smarter than being a doormat, because if you're a doormat, you're just going to get walked all over again. And whether Trump tries to come back in 2024 or not, or somebody else does, at a certain point, you get what you asked for. So if you say, I'm a Trump doormat, just walk all over me, do whatever you got to do, I don't even pay attention, he's going to keep doing it, But a lot of people are starting to realize that, yeah, something happened. The lockdown was a total betrayal. And you know what? I appreciate what he did do, but I'm a man, okay? And Trump's a man, and he's a more powerful man than me as far as money and political status goes. But at the end of the day, I never had a problem because Trump never treated me like I wasn't a man and like I wasn't a free human being. During March and April, watching his rhetoric and seeing him do things like flying planes over my head, I'm stuck in a house. I'm stuck inside. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to the park. I can't go to the beach. I can't do anything because I'm being treated like a slave. And Trump says, hey, I'm going to fly a bunch of planes over your head. I felt betrayed. I'm like, bro, I appreciate the military and I appreciate the cool jets, but I'm not a freaking slave. You take away all my things and fly jets over my head like I'm supposed to be impressed. I felt betrayed then. And then when he tried to extend the lockdown orders past Easter after saying he wasn't, he looked at the chart and said, let me extend them past Easter. I felt betrayed then. And then when he printed trillions of dollars and he told Thomas Massie to shut up and leave the party, I felt betrayed then. And then when he told Governor Kemp to keep closed and he shouldn't open, he'll let him do it, but he doesn't agree, I felt betrayed then. And then when Trump went on Twitter and started saying Sweden should have never opened up, I felt betrayed then because he started turning into a salesman for communism. And then he used the lockdown money that he printed to fund big pharma and big mass testing and ventilators, which is obviously going to be used against us. I felt betrayed then. And then I shut up for a month or two because, yeah, I don't want Biden to win. I'd rather Trump win. And then after the election, from November to January, I felt betrayed then because he just sold Moderna vaccines with his audience like 15 times. So I didn't want to go to an event that I didn't even believe in the leader, which I didn't. So, and since then, he's only gotten worse and more quiet and more silent. Well, he's in office. He can't say that. He doesn't care. I felt betrayed by him 30 times. And then his stupid actions and his events that were stupid, now they're getting me in trouble. Now, someone who previously was living, I'm still living a peaceful life, but now I'm getting phone calls from a group of people because his stupid ass, excuse my language, brought a bunch of other people who were brainwashing the thinking Mike Pence was going to change the election into a setup event that was never a good idea in the first place. So yeah, I felt betrayed 30 times. Excuse me for talking about it, but I'm not a slave. I'm not a doormat. I'm not a peasant. I'm not a serf. And if every man felt like that and woman, it wouldn't have happened. But a lot of people, they act so tough and they say, thank you, Daddy Trump, walk all over me. Like if you didn't feel betrayed at some point from March until now, you're going to get what you deserve. Like if you don't respect yourself, how are any of these politicians going to respect us? Someone said, wah, wah, wah. Bro, if getting treated like a slave doesn't feel like betrayal to you, why wouldn't they do that to you? If you're just like, wah, 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 yeah, who cares about getting locked in the house for 2 months? It's like, yeah, that's coming back because you don't even care. It's like, this is why self accountability is all that matters. Like, how are you gonna stand up for 100 million people who don't even want to stand up for themselves? At a certain point, it's going to come down to people who preserve their own freedom and do their own thing. If 50% of the movement is like, wow, 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 yeah, so what? He did his best. He only locked down the country, brought in communism, sold vaccines, gave big pharma power, and set up his supporters. For 4 years, we lied to everybody saying that he was going to arrest the pedophiles. And, in the last moment, he didn't arrest the pedophiles. He got his own supporters arrested. Who cares? He just made a little mistake. It's like, yeah, nothing like communism, lockdowns, trillions of dollars of loans and human slavery. Yeah, just a minor mistake for Daddy Trump. It's like, give me a break, guys. If that's how you want to get treated, repeat the same mistake again. Go beg for it again. And then when it comes, don't blame Biden. Don't blame Hillary. Blame yourself because you're asking for it. You love it. Someone said Trump wasn't responsible for this country locking down for over a year. Keep telling yourself that. Keep telling yourself he didn't sign off on the emergency order. Keep telling yourself he wasn't the spearhead of 15 days to slow the spread. Keep telling yourself that he didn't give Fauci airtime under his platform. Keep telling yourself that he didn't extend the lockdown. Keep telling yourself that he didn't sign the CARES Act. Keep telling yourself that he didn't call out Thomas Massie and try to kick him out of the party for being the only person to actually oppose communism. Thomas Massie did, and Trump said kick him out of the party. Keep telling yourself that he didn't bash Governor Kemp for opening up. Keep telling yourself that he didn't sell communism by saying Sweden should have stayed closed. Keep telling yourself that he didn't usher in his own mass mail-in ballot scheme. Keep lying to yourself. Keep telling yourself he had nothing to do with it. Go ahead, keep lying it. And then go to these stupid Trump events, get set up, ruin your whole life over a guy that doesn't give a shit about you, and just keep doing it on loop and see what happens. You're going to get the same results. Is it all his fault? No. Did he have no part in it? No. Stop lying. I'm tired of it. I'm not going to be mean, but March, April, how many times have Trump supporters lied about it? You could lie to yourself all you want. You could lie in the comments all you want. The truth is the truth. It's documented. It's signed off on. The signatures are there. The funding is there. It's all documented. History is real. So if you want to distort history to make your own illusion feel better, knock yourself out. But I have yet to lose a debate on this topic. Who wants to debate me? I know a lot of Trump supporters online are talking shit. Oh, anomalies this, anomalies that. They don't want to debate me because they know that I'm more honest than them. They know that I have my facts, and they would get dominated and embarrassed because this is what real talk sounds like, okay? They're not ready for an arena. Everybody who's tried to call me out on this topic and bring me on got embarrassed and demolished, and I just sprayed facts, and they had an ego meltdown and couldn't handle it. So who wants to have a debate on this topic? I have printouts, handouts. I have not handouts, but I guess I did get $600 from the government. I have all the dates. What do you have? A feeling that you feel like Trump had no part in it? Who cares? Okay. Find the biggest Trump influencer who feels the same way you feel and watch me, reduce them to a little child in a political debate. Someone said people give him the pass only because he's Trump. It's just how are we going to get on to more important issues if people can't even grasp what happened? It's not 100% his fault, but acting like he had no part in it, it's such a lie. It's such a fraudulent lie. It's a lie that's going to ruin the right wing. How can you not make the same mistake twice if you don't even admit what you did the first time? There's two things. There's self-awareness and self-accountability. It's hard to be self-accountable. Doing something is hard, but the first step to doing something is understanding that it even happened. If you have zero self-awareness, you'll never have self-accountability. So the conservatives act like they want accountability, but they don't even have a awareness to point out what happened in the first place. So it's going to happen again. No one's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. It's not possible to even be perfect, but if you have zero awareness, you're done. And there's no awareness around this topic. In the Trump world, there's almost zero awareness. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Find me one of these influencers that'll never say that. They don't want to debate me. They're not going to win because it's not a competition. The truth wins, and the truth is on my side. And emotions and partisan politics is on their side. So it's not going to be a competition. This is why I don't lose debates. I don't lose debates because I'm so special. I'm just not a liar. So if they say something accurate, I agree. If they say something dishonest, I'll come correct. And if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll say I don't know what I'm talking about. But people look at me with their ego and with their jealousy and think I don't like what he's saying. And they try to spin it and make me into a bad guy. And I embarrass them. And everybody can see that they can't hang with me. So I'm open to debating anybody. Take what I'm saying, put it against any of these other people. See what happens. What's up, Elman? Matt said, I recognize all the things you're talking about, but you act like it's all his fault. Well, Matt, this is why people can't beat me in a debate, because that's a straw man argument. I've said 20 times this live stream, I'm not saying it's all his fault. I'm not saying it's all his fault. I'm not saying it's all his fault. And what do you write? I recognize all the things you're talking about, but you act like it's all his fault. Besides the fact that I've said 1,000 times, I don't think it's all his fault. What I'm saying is people say he opposed the lockdowns and he had no part in it. That's a lie. That's all I'm saying. So you're lying. They're lying. Can anyone not lie and debunk what I'm saying? No. That's why you have to lie. That's why you have to make up an argument. I specifically said 20 times, he's not completely to blame. But what people are saying, which I'm debunking, is he had no part in it. He tried his hardest to fight it. He didn't do anything. It was the states. He had a part in it. And I just spent 3 minutes to tell you exactly what parts he did have in it. So then you say it's all his fault when I never said it's all his fault. This is why I don't lose debates. It's not because I'm so special. I'm not a liar. Keep the straw mans coming. Keep the lies coming. Keep well, you said this when I literally said the opposite. No one believes you because you could rewind this video 3 minutes and hear exactly I said the opposite of what you just said. So you're only lying to yourself. You're not lying to me. You get what I'm saying? It's like at a certain point, you got to stop lying to yourself, because when you lie to yourself, then you're susceptible to lies from others. If you have no self-awareness, you become a liar, and then you seek other liars and you don't even know they're lying because you lie to yourself. It all roots in reality. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. There's things that I wish I did better, but one of my best assets is self-awareness. I'm not perfect, but if someone calls out where I'm not or says something, I'm aware that it's happening. Either I'm doing something about it or I'm not. It's like the awareness. If you have no awareness, it's not Trump's fault. It's your fault. You're going to believe any liar. If you can't decipher that and you say lies, why wouldn't you look for that in someone else? It all roots internally. Dimitri, I'm reading the comments. Funny. Grover said POTUS can only control foreign affairs. Domestic affairs are not directly controllable by POTUS. Grover, whatever you want to tell yourself. I hear what you're saying, but I mean, I don't know that that's true. I think they probably do have more power maybe over the military. But this idea, I'm not going to argue how much they have involved, but it's like, it's going to happen again if no one even knows what happened the first time. There's a certain amount of power he has domestic. And if you want to tell yourself that he did every single thing he possibly could to preserve freedom, that I just think it's a lie, but whatever. Thugnificent said, I have a question. Knock yourself out. Someone said, be your sweet self and don't get rattled. I get passionate, but is it really been 3 hours? Holy crap. Excuse my language. I did not realize it was 3 hours. Someone said Trump isn't even calling it out, but he doesn't have to because people make excuses for it. So, that's where people, I don't want to repeat myself, but a populist president listens to the population. The conservative movement's effective when you actually say what you believe. If you just make excuses for what you didn't like, why would a populist person listen to you? There's nothing to listen to. You have no identity. You're just a follower. If you're a follower, you follow whoever the leader is. He's the leader, so he does whatever he wants. If you don't agree with it, you're supposed to say something. That's all I'm saying. It's not all his fault, but he's a populist. But it's popular in the Trump movement to just make excuses for things that people don't agree with. So why would he stop doing them? He's not going to. It's not his fault. It's our fault. I've been saying this since April. It's popular to hallucinate fake ideas of things that aren't going to happen. So they get off on it. They're like, yeah, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Why would we have to change? Someone said, cheer up. I'm cheerful. Honestly, like, my back hurts, to be quite fair. My throat hurts a little. It doesn't hurt, but it's like a little hoarse. I'm trying to get some exercise and not break my thumb again by hitting it on a thing. I'm having a good time. I enjoy a little left and right. If you see me on a basketball court, not now because my thumb's broken, I'll be out there eventually. Trust me. Here's my goal. But it gets intense sometimes. It's okay, a conversation. But my goal is, because I can dunk a basketball. I don't look tall, but I am tall. I can dunk, but I haven't been able to dunk since I stepped on a spike. So I'm a lefty. This is my left hand. My right foot had a spike in it. My left hand, I broke my thumb. I have to, in order to dunk with my left hand, I jump off my right foot and I jam with my left hand. They're both semi-injured right now. One day I'm going to dunk again. Jump off my right foot, which had a spike in it, jam with my left hand, and it's going to be a glorious day after my injuries heal fully. That's my goal. Someone said, what's your plan? What's your solution? People are tired of hearing this on my live stream, but I'm going to say it one more time. The solution is literally just, I think, self-awareness, self-accountability, but the base is the base. I just said it. He's a populist. If it's popular to make excuses for him, he has no incentive to change. If it's popular to say the truth, whether Trump says it or not, it's going to be popular for him to do the right thing. He has no incentive right now. The solution is to stop making excuses for things you don't agree with. If you agree with it, it's fine. But 90% of people who make excuses for it, they don't agree with it. They're like, well, he had a lot of pressure and maybe he hired the wrong people. It's like, just your job, listen, I get paid for this stuff, not this, but if your job is like a PR team for Trump and you're making six figures, then make excuses for Trump. If your job is, if you're an American citizen and you're not getting paid to make excuses for Trump, God willing, stop making excuses for it and just tell him you don't agree. That's why he stopped talking about vaccines so much, because people actually said something. If people would have said something last April, there could have been different results. No one says anything. It's popular to idolize him. It's popular to act like there's some sort of super secret plan so you get from the populace what's popular. That's the solution. It's really that simple. On a political scale, on a personal scale, do what you got to do. My whole life doesn't revolve around him. My life is in my hands. Your life is in your hands. So, you got to be the best version of yourself you could be, whatever you want, family, career-wise, like you got to accomplish that. That's that, whether it's Biden or Trump, that's all you can do personally, but politically, that's my solution. And to be quite fair, for people who are asking what the solution is, I've only said it 1,000 times. That's my opinion, of course. So people don't ask me what my solution is because they want to hear my solution. People ask me what the solution is when they want to act like I'm not literally saying one at the point. It's a deflection tactic to just be like, nah, yeah, so what? That's what people say to me. They don't say anomaly. I'm genuinely concerned what your solution is. I've said it 1,000 times. They say, oh, yeah, so what? Okay, this guy's got all the problems. What's the solution? That's the energy. It's like, what do you got to say about it? It's like you're cutting me off when I'm saying it and you're asking what I'm saying. I know the difference. This is not my first rodeo. Dimitri said 333-1. It wasn't a debate, Dimitri. I let you speak because I liked what you were saying, but I'll bring you back on and we'll go at it, Dimitri. Madeline said, and now they discredit Tucker because they brainwashed he's controlled op. He's the number one talk show talking about medical freedom, spying, vaccine stuff. We need his voice. Oh, no question. He's the best person on television. No question. You might not like Tucker. You might not agree with any. It's, to me, the gap, no disrespect to anybody else on television. It's Tucker Carlson, and the next person's not even close, okay? I don't even think the second person's close. So whether you agree with everything he says or not, he's the most important person on television. And that's why they're mad at me on Facebook too. I'm not going to say I'm the most important person, but they're starting to feel like I am. So they're getting mad at me. So yeah, protect Tucker at all costs. They're mad at him because he's one of the only bright spots on television. You know, he has on left-wing populists. He has on progressives. He has on Tulsi Gabbard, Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore. You know, he gives you the best of both worlds. He questions things that no one else is questioning. That's why they're mad at him. Whether what he said is true or not, I'm sure we'll find out in the coming week. But, you know, I love his bravery. I don't know what he's really doing or not, but, you know, it's like this. I love to see people just being brave. And listen, you have one life. Everybody's afraid. This is an old quote, but everybody's afraid of dying. But then nobody lives, you know, like we're all going to die. When I broke my thumb, it was kind of sad because, listen, I like sports. I like my hands. I don't know, that's obvious, but I like my hands and I appreciate them and I use them and now I can't and it sucks. But I had a thing where I'm like, listen, I was so sad to lose my thumb. I'm not losing it. I'll be able to use it again probably. But like I was so sad, but it really made me think in advance, like I want this to be perfect, but it's not always going to be perfect. And, you know, eventually as I get older, my thumb's going to wear down. And when I'm 70 or 80, like naturally things are going to wear down and it's sad and it's depressing in some ways, but at the end, also it makes life worthwhile. If we could live forever, you know, it would be a weird vibe, but knowing that your time is not forever, it makes you want to go even harder. People say to me like, you know, what if this happens? What if that happens? Like, of course, anything could happen. But at the end of the day, if I drive in a car or something could happen. Like things are dangerous. If I go to LA, things could happen. So, but it makes it worthwhile knowing we're not going to be here forever. You know, we're not going to have a physical body that could do certain things. So that makes me want to do it even more now. In my 30s, I want to go even harder because I know in my 40s and 50s and 60s, it's going to be even harder. So in a weird way, breaking my thumb, although I'm disappointed, it's made me realize more than I already knew. I already kind of knew it, but it's like, you know, life is not forever. So people worry about Tucker and say, oh my God, what's going to happen to him? It's like, he's a legend. You know, he's been on the ground in like Kuwait and overseas. He's been in the most dangerous areas of the world. He's not afraid. He's just living his life and he understands what's going on, you know, and that's like brave people will change the world. And it's easier to be brave when you realize that everyone's going to die eventually. Everyone's body is going to wear down eventually, unless I get like a Jeff Bezos Amazon 4000 where I'm in a robot and I'm decked out and my brain's in an Elon Musk Neuralink container and I'm out here just crushing it like a Monstar from Space Jam. Unless that happens, you know, my body's going to wear down. Maybe I could be a robot someday. I don't know if I want to or not, but you get what I'm saying. So that, you know, I think a lot of people look at what Tucker's doing. Anyone like, oh my God, he must be so scared. But it's like, listen, you got one life to live. You might as well do something or try or live your best life and do something that you feel is like worth it. I think that's the inspiration of like why to not be afraid. Someone said, heck yeah, I just turned 31 and I lost over 62 pounds. You have to live your last life and challenge, feeling that exact sentiment, be brave and bold. Congratulations. That's so much weight to lose. Like, that's so hard to do. I have trouble. I mean, I don't need to really lose weight, but like doing small things with your body is tough. Losing that much weight is a crazy good accomplishment. So impressive. And I bet you feel a lot better. So God bless you. And that's pretty cool. Someone said, he said Monstar from Space Jam, LOL Classic. Someone said, make Anomaly dunk again. These are things that I think about, but it is what it is. Someone said, so you don't believe in Jesus? I mean, that's quite the straw man. No, I'm talking about physical life. I'm not talking about afterlife. I'm not talking about your spirit. I'm talking about your physical body. Unless you think heaven is like your physical body coming back to earth or something. I'm talking about life on earth. I'm not talking about life after death. I'm not talking about heaven. I do believe in Jesus. That's what I'm talking about. Unless you think heaven, you just get like reincarnated and you're playing basketball with Jesus. Listen, I'm open to interpretations of heaven because I would love to ball with Jesus. I'm guessing he would probably beat me just based off of, my thoughts of Jesus. But, it could be a fun time. I would want to be on his team. Imagine having to guard Jesus. It just wouldn't feel good. You'd be like, like you steal the ball from him. You just feel terrible. You're like, I should have just let him score. Or he's just so good. He embarrasses you and starts talking shit. And you're like, I didn't think he would talk that much shit for, a godlike figure. Someone said, why can't you talk about Zionist bankers? Well, that's just a straw man argument. It's like, why won't you talk about this? I just said it. So what? Someone said, juke you and turn your ankles into wine, bro. Oh my God, that's funny. I love basketball. I'm so pissed that this happened, but I'm over it. You can't be mad, but I keep it's okay. We're over it. I got to just not bang it into this thing. Someone said, I heard Jesus can ball. I assume he's good at basketball, but I honestly, he might not. I got to stretch. I can't believe I've been here for 3 hours. This is like a freaking zone. I kept saying I'm going to leave and then I got sucked back in. That's like social media. You ever been on Twitter? You ever been on Twitter and you're just scrolling and it just sucks and you just don't even want to be there and you're just like, this sucks, but you like can't close it. That's how I feel right now. Like I got to go. I've been here way too long. I've overstayed my welcome, but I just can't turn it off. It sucks. I'm not into Instagram that much. I mean, I post on Instagram. I'm doing great there, but I don't use it as much as I use Twitter. I'm just like, it's such an embarrassing moment where you're just like, this is terrible. You're like, I hate Twitter, but I'm just sitting there laying. It's embarrassing. Whatever. Someone said, when I discovered you, Anomaly, I had already been rapping 2 years under the pseudonym Entropy. So tell me that isn't a pretty neat fractalized coincidence. Oh, with the zero? Well, God bless you, Wes. I appreciate you. J-Spot said that with the super chat, I'd love to ball with Jesus. It just seems like a fun thing to do. I mean, maybe he doesn't want to play basketball, though. I don't want to have these crazy high expectations. And then you get to heaven and he's just like, you thought this was going to be about basketball? And I'm like, I don't know. I just thought maybe like you don't want to have expectations because then you get there and then he's like, there are no basketball hoops. I'm like, really? I was expecting like at least a couple courts. He's like, no, it's not about basketball, brother. And he's like, it's deeper than that. And I'm like, no, I get it. I get the metaphor. Like it's deeper heaven, but I was hoping for at least, I have to say 4 to 5 courts myself, but that you're right. I shouldn't have had these thoughts. What can I say? I'm only human. I almost said hummus. Jesus is clearly a surfer. I have the shirt of him where it's like, he's surfing or whatever. Like water body. He's surfing with his feet, walking on water. All right. Unnecessary conversation, but do I ever think I'll be able to jump like Zion in heaven? You talking about Zion Williamson? I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to jump higher or not. Hopefully. Do I like any sport? My favorite sports to play, I like to play basketball. I like to play soccer. I like to play tennis. I'm going to learn golf. I don't know how to play very well, but I'm going to get better because I went to the PGA Tour and that was really cool. I like volleyball. I like pickleball. I like ping pong. I'm trying to think of other sports. I like football, like playing on the beach, playing in the ocean, whatever, like with the, what's it called? With the things. My two favorite to play are basketball and soccer, though, interchangeable. Everything else I love. I'm going to learn golf. But yeah, I'm a sports fanatic. I love to play. I love sports. I love competition. I love everything. Someone said I love tennis, bro. I'm pretty good at tennis. I'm not great at tennis. I would say here's how good I am at things. Like soccer, I think I'm really good. I played when I was younger. I traveled a lot and played like top ranked in my state and such. So soccer, I'm probably the best at. Basketball, I'm really good at in some ways. Tennis, I'm pretty good, but I don't think I'm as good. I'm not as good at tennis as I am at basketball and soccer, but I'm pretty good at tennis. Ping pong, I'm pretty good at ping pong too. I'd like to play somebody in ping pong, but I'm pretty nice at ping pong. Pickleball, I'm very good at too. Volleyball, I'm okay. I'm pretty good, but I'm not like a pro player. Golf, I suck at. I suck at golf, and I want to get better. It's a cool sport, but I'm not good. What's my USTA rating? Well, no, I'm not. I'm beyond amateur. I'm not pro or semi-pro, but I think people would be surprised at how good I am at soccer and basketball. And tennis. I think I could, but my tennis form is ugly. I'm just athletic. I got super ugly. I look so ugly playing tennis. I didn't make the team in high school. I feel like it was political. I should have. So I used to go before, and I used to play some of the best people in tennis on the team, and I used to beat them before tennis. I was like, you guys didn't let me make the team, but I'm beating you guys in games. I played ugly. It looked ugly, but I'm fast. I get everything. I return it. I'm lobbing. I'm saving. Like they're slamming on me, and I'm saving it. People hate losing to me in tennis because I look so ugly doing it. My form does not look great. Everything's ugly, but it's just like you could slam it at me like 100 miles an hour and I'll return it. Like that's how I got quick reactions. Like they're like, how is he doing this? And I was just like, it's ugly. Everything ugly, but listen, it's about the scorecard. That's the type of player I am. It's not, okay, I might not look like Allen Iverson on the basketball court, but check the scoreboard, okay? We get rebounds out here, okay? We do layups. We shoot shots. It doesn't have to go in. I got the rebound. That's the type of player I am. Everything's ugly. Soccer, I'm a little more gracious. Everything else, ugly. But winning. Am I a fire sign? I don't know what that means. I'm a Libra, whatever that is. I saw Hotep Jesus was playing chess. I think that's cool. I'm not very good at chess, but I just think sports are cool. I think chess is cool. You know, golf is cool. Like I got to see Bryson play at the PGA Tour. I love sports. I love competition. I love like everything's cool to me. Like not like crossword puzzles. If you're really good at anybody that's great at anything, it's just cool to me. You know, I like a good game. I like a good air sign. Yeah. Someone said Georgia Guidestones. All right, let's calm down. No, I'm just kidding. Thoughts on the Olympic win, repping the USA? Yeah, I mean, it was only a matter of time until there was an Olympian who hated the country. It's a sign of times. It's annoying, but not surprising. Jazz said, you're literally one of the only honest voices. Thank you. I'm not trying, and I really don't mean to be mean. I get passionate. I get hyped up like it's halftime, and I hate to be rude to anybody. I'm trying to say what I'm saying. Take it or leave it. Leave the stream if you want, but I'm trying to inject a certain conversation into the conversation. Like I don't think I'm the problem. I don't think there's many people saying certain things. So if there's 20 people saying one thing and I'm saying one thing, you could click off me. It's okay. But I want to say it. And I think there's a place for it. Have I ever played lacrosse? I never played lacrosse. I would assume I'm trash at lacrosse because it's a certain art to catch and throw. If I would have played growing up, I probably would have been good, but that's one sport I'm trash. I'm trash at lacrosse. You know, I don't even know how to play, to be honest. What's up, Australia? I would say like cricket and any of these like European type sports. I'm probably trash at those too. I like kickball, baseball. I used to play baseball and I was pretty good, but I kept getting hit by the ball. Something about baseball doesn't sit right with me. Like, hear me out. Maybe I'm just like, I was a spoiled kid or something, but like in soccer and basketball, it's all about, it's all a team game. And also like if someone hits you, you can hit back. You're not supposed to, but you get what I'm saying? You're boxing out. I don't like baseball because I'm just a sitting duck up there. Like I had some of the fastest pitchers in the league on my team and they used to hit me in practice. Like I'm just trying to practice and they're hitting me in the arm. There's something that doesn't sit right with me about that, where it's like they could throw a ball at me as hard as they can, and I'm just supposed to sit there, and if they hit me, I just walk to the base. Like, I want to run out on the mound. I don't have anger problems, but it's like, that's not fair. If we were both throwing balls at each other or something at the same time and something happens, it's one thing, but something about baseball, I just kept getting beamed by the ball, and I was like, I'm tired of getting hit by these people. Like, at least in soccer, if someone nudges me, I can nudge them back. In basketball, someone hits me hard, I could box them out the next game. In tennis, you're not hitting anybody. Every other sport, it's like a mutual thing. It's like baseball, you're just freaking up there for the killing. And I'm just getting hit all the time. And I'm like, this game sucks. You know, I like baseball, but it's something about that just never sat right with me. And the one year I had these fast pitchers on my team and they kept hitting, I probably got hit 5 times in like a month. I'm like, if someone's going to hit me in a sport, I got to be able to hit back. Like football, at least it's like you catch, you can run out of bounds. Baseball, you're just a sitting duck. You know, there's something, baseball is cool, but I just didn't like it personally. Someone said anomaly ain't scary. Hopefully I'm not scary. I'm not trying to be, but you have to avoid the ball. No, I get it, but sometimes you can't. It's part of the game. It's a great game. Something about that. I was like, I'm already playing all these other sports. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather just play soccer and basketball. I'm tired of baseball. Someone said I could never, ever hit the ball. Well, that's another story. It's definitely hard. Once I got hit like 4 times in one season, I'm just like, I was over it. I was like, okay, this is not fun. What am I like? Yeah, I'm like 6'3", someone asked. So when my thumb gets better, I'm dunking. But right now, I probably got to wait I'm probably going to be conservative and wait a couple months. Someone said son's a lefty and often a target in baseball. See, I think that's what it is. I'm a lefty. And when you're a lefty, the righty throws, let me see. Yeah, the righty throws right to left. So righties miss on the lefty side a lot. I think that's what was happening. Most kids are righty. I'm a lefty, and they just kept hitting me. And I'm just like standing there. I got hit like for the 4th time, and I'm just like, yeah, this is not like, you know, I'm like one of those baseball players that crack it and just, I'm like, this is not right. Anomaly, give us an apartment tour? Probably not. Sorry. I do want to hear. All right. Last thing, we're going to end on a good note. I mean it. I got to go. This is way too long. But in general, okay. What do you guys, be honest? Don't hurt my feelings, sir. I mean, you can't hurt my feelings, but someone said you let yourself get hit. I get it. I could have moved, but I'm just saying if they throw it certain ways, it's difficult. Okay. Blame me. It's fine. I'm not going to play the victim. Okay. I got hit too much. It's my fault. Okay. We'll move on. What do you guys think I should change my background? Because it doesn't look terrible, but I'll just show you real quick. It's actually very big. Look, this picture is huge. It's a very big picture. This is actually a huge square, very big. I'm like 6'3" I meant for it to cover more space, but my apartment's kind of long. So it wasn't as close, and it doesn't look as close as I thought it was. So I was thinking about just redesigning everything because it doesn't, you know. Yeah, I kind of just want to do a whole nother background. And I was thinking about dropping a few $1,000s and getting a better camera. I want to just get better at everything. So what do you think? Yes? Change it up? A lot of yeses. Yes, do a podcast setting. I think I'm going to. I'll get a better microphone that doesn't bash every time I hit the freaking table. I'm gonna get a better camera. I'm probably gonna spend a couple of grand on. I have it. Someone said you need a green screen. I have a green screen, but going live with a green screen is not as easy. So I think I'm gonna spend like 5 grand, get a brand new camera, figure out a better setup somehow. I don't know exactly how, but maybe I could put a wall that just divides or something. I'm not really sure, but that's the second half of the year. I want to go even harder. My book, I'm getting there. I'm working on it each day. Better background, better camera. I'm gonna drop a couple grand on a good camera. Get a better, I don't know, better microphone. I'm gonna do all that one. Someone said do more location work. Yeah. With my apartment, I like to just work from home. So, I could do something else, but I really invested in myself in my apartment. And I like that, when it's yours and it's here, they can't really take it away. So it kind of sucks working from home. Sometimes it's nice, but also it's easy to like get in a bad routine, but I'm trying to get in a good routine, new setup within a month or something. We'll figure it out. Someone said flat screen on a wall. I want to do better presentations too. I want to do like there's programs that you can put up videos in the video live stream. I want to do that, but I don't want to give my passwords out to a third party. I know that sounds paranoid, but everything's getting hacked. Everything's getting leaked. I don't want to lose my social media pages. So I feel like if I use one of these third parties like OBS or StreamYard, then you're logging into a third party with all your information from your social media. So if StreamYard or OBS gets hacked or whatever you use to restream OBS, now all your whole thing is screwed. So that's the only reason I haven't upgraded. I could probably figure out how to do better quality live streams. I'd rather do what I'm doing than risk giving all my stuff to a third party. So I'll figure it out. I'm going to weigh out the options, but that's I think everything could get better. I'll show you real quick too. Actually, I won't, but I have a new light. I have a light here. This light, oh shit, sorry, I just broke my other light, but this light just died out. It's okay. I'm trying to just upgrade. So we'll figure it out. Someone said, be careful. Yeah, I'm going to try. Go with my instincts. I think I could do better. I mean, if you look at my videos 2 years ago, it was worse than it is now. Now they're better. Everything gets better. I think I could upgrade it a lot. But sometimes it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. However, I do think that I could do stuff without really slowing myself down. All right. Someone said, don't trust PayPal either. I don't know that I trust any of these services, but there's certain things that I just don't trust as more. Get a video switcher board. What's a video switcher board? Here's another thing I could do too. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to say I have a lot of money, but I'm willing to invest what it takes to make my thing better because I'll make it back. Is a video board one of these things with a video? That would be dope. I don't know how much it costs, but what if I had a digital whiteboard where I could draw on and I could put videos and I could like draw faces on Joe Biden or something? That sounds like a fun time. How much do those things cost? You think that's a possibility to get like a whiteboard is there such thing? A whiteboard that you could put videos on that I could draw on? Is that a thing? I think that's funny. I could draw a little face on Joe Biden when he's talking and then we could laugh at it. That sounds fun. And then instead of holding up my laptop like an idiot, I could just put that there. I think that's fun. I'll look into it. I'll buy it. I like a good internet purchase. I'm not going to say I'm wasting too much money, but after living in an area where my mail didn't always come because it wasn't that great of an area, now I could safely get my mail. So listen, I like ordering stuff online. I probably shouldn't, but it's so easy. My husband said a couple grand. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Screw it. All right. So this is what we're going to do. New camera, figure it out. A whiteboard, a whole new setup, I'm going to drop like 10 grand. I don't care. Thank you guys for supporting on Patreon. Thank you guys for supporting on Facebook supporters. Thank you guys for watching. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, but my Facebook video, now my live streams are monetized. This was not always the case. They didn't have an option for the actual stream to have ads in it. Now they do. So after getting crushed for like 6 months, my revenue is starting to get back up on Facebook. I don't have any doubt that they'll probably try to take that away from me at some point, but it is what it is. I'm going to save up money. I'm going to invest, figure it out, and no excuses. There's a way for me to figure out how to get sponsors, all this stuff. I would say I'm blessed. I appreciate what I'm doing, but in many ways, I think I'm underachieving. I work hard. I get the information out. That's what's important. But, I got to set myself up too, not set myself up in a bad way, but, nothing is forever. Nothing is for certain. So while things are good, there's a way to capitalize, I think, a little better. So I'm going to invest back in myself, spend all that money, make more songs, finish my book. I feel so inspired the second half of the year because it's almost July and that scares me. So I'm like, all right, I got to go even harder. Someone said, spend it while you can. That's an investment in you. I'm good. I mean, taxes definitely suck, but I'll figure it out. I like that idea of a board. Then that'll make me look like I'm super like extra cool. I mean, I think I already seem kind of cool, but if I got a board, you don't see that very often. I'm drawing things on my board. There's videos playing on a board, and then everyone's gonna be like, how do I get a board? I know they exist, but you don't see a lot of people with boards. So I think I'm gonna be the board guy. They're like, that's the guy with the interactive digital board. Anomaly with the board. It's gonna be my whole personality. I'm gonna wear shirts that say, digital board guy, and it's gonna be my whole shtick. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna do Ty Lopez style videos and like Gary V. You guys know Gary V's like, hey, wake the F up, get the F up and do something with your life, you lazy piece of shit. He's like, come on, if your family's in the way, get rid of them, make money, go to a garage sale, sell a bunch of Japanese hentai cards for more money. Or like Ty Lopez, he's like, you see this car behind me? He's like, that's a Lamborghini. He's like, I'm rich, you're not. You're poor and I'm rich. You want to be rich like me? There's only one way. You have to give me more of your money so I can buy more Lamborghinis, and then I'll take some of that money, and then I'll tell you how maybe you could make a Lamborghini. I mean, you probably can't, but if you just keep giving me money, I'll buy more Lamborghinis. And people just dole out money to this guy because he's just they're like, I want to be wealthy. I'll give my money to Ty Lopez, and he's just making a killing off of but I get it. Listen, it's good to invest in yourself and learn tricks of the trade, but the Ty Lopez and the Gary V thing, that's so funny to me. Gary V's so aggressive. He's like, get the fuck up. You're like, excuse my language. He's like, it's 6:00 a.m. What are you doing in bed? He's like, I just made $10,000 at a garage sale buying little elephant trinkets. And you're sitting there saying that you can't get rich like me. He's like, there's profits to be made. And like, sometimes Gary V's annoying, but low key, it works. I'm seriously watching him making money at a garage sale. I'm in bed. The dude's been up for 3 hours, just like hustling like elderly people at a garage sale, making like thousands of dollars. And I'm in bed and I'm like, he's kind of right though. I was like, I should probably not be in bed right now. I was like, I probably should get up. And he made me want to go to a garage sale. I was like, should I go to a garage? I don't even know where garage sales are at. How do you find garage sales? Is there an app for it? But, I like people like that. Him, what's the other guy's name? The financial guy. He always says better than I deserve to be. David, I don't even remember his name, but I like a good inspiration sometimes. So I gotta check that out. But yeah, maybe that'll be me. I'll just give up politics and start talking about my board. All right, it's on. New mic, new camera, overwhelming amount of yes. I get it. My background's trash and it looks stupid. That's actually a beanbag right there. I know it doesn't look like it, but you can't see it on Facebook, on YouTube. That's like a life-size beanbag. I could just lay there. It's comfortable, but it is what it is. I can get a better background. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. 3.5 hours. I can't believe this happened. But it is what it is. I appreciate the fact that I can't even do this. I'm sorry if I was mean at any point or if I rubbed anyone the wrong way. It's okay. I'm over it. You can make fun of me. You can hate me. It's okay. Just don't be too mean. And then we'll move forward. But hopefully some part in this stream actually made sense. I wonder if they actually monitor all my streams. Do you think there's going to be like high-level people that are just sitting there watching this 3.5 hours? And if they watch my stream, will they like me or will they hate me? That's the question. Does someone have to watch this 3.5 hours because of the title? And they're like, dude, this guy just won't shut up. They're like, They're like, we should just they're like, we should just go after this guy because he won't shut the hell up. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully not. Hopefully they like me. But God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thank you guys. Telegram, Dream Rare Chat. Instagram, Dream Rare. Check out my song with Trapped. It's a few years old, but I posted a reel, and you already know. I'm gonna work on some stuff later this week.